Peace, y'all. Peace. We're going to open up this debate. Get all your meat eater friends. Tell them to hop on. It's about to go down. Yeah. All right. Get everybody that has an opinion about, you know, the vegan lifestyle, bring them up, drop the emails in the chat, and I'll send the link out. Peace, Adam Jerringer, Backpack Zoe, Conscious Vegan. Peace. I hope we can keep this peaceful. Willie Little John. Peace. DZ. Peace, DZ. Yo, I seen your email pop up, but I got to get to the people before that. Rambo Jambo, what's good? Thanks for tuning in. Tchaikovsky, May, what up, my G? Peace. What up, Manny? I gotta drop the link in the chat here, or if you want to get up here and let me drop your email. I don't want this to get hacked. You know, someone from the meat industry is gonna try to hack this. Adam doesn't have any meat eating friends. He left all the meat eaters behind. He's like, yo, bun you guys. I don't need you guys. Man, most of my friends still eat meat. But I definitely notice a rift. Taking these fresh fruits and vegetables and grains and nuts and seeds and herbs that is before your eyes. This is a balanced diet. You can get rid of the white bread though. That's garbage. Well, that might be rye bread. What up, PR Corey? What up, GPX Sage? What up, Misael? Only the wise. Peace and love. Yo, I want you guys to try to get a meat eater up here. We're gonna try to see what's happening, you know? We're gonna try to see what's on their mind. Drop the emails in the chat if you want to get up, if you want to, you know what I'm saying? If you want to talk with me about it, just put your emails in the chat and I will send the invite out. This is a different type of show. All right. Let me get rid of the music. Yes. I told you guys that this was coming. And, you know, I hope that we get some people up here, you know what I mean? Because this is definitely brand new. I have not seen anybody do this. I typed in vegan debates and I seen like professional debates happening, you know what I mean? But there's no online debates that we can really hash it out, you know what I mean? Battle it out, duke it out. And I think that's important because there's a lot of things that'll get brought up in a debate like this that will get left behind in a controlled environment. But I mean, I'll destroy it in a controlled environment either. Also, because remember, I've been at this for like about 10 years now doing this, and You know, I've had debates with my friends. I've had debates when I'm drunk, debates with my family, debates with people I don't even know. So definitely time to bring this to the public. All right. Yeah, so drop the emails in the chat. And why am I doing this? I want to let you guys know why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because if the animals had a voice, if they could speak any language that humans speak, I mean, they give us signs that they don't want to die, but we ignore them completely. You know, we think that, you know, the fact that they're running away is like makes it a sport or something. You know what I mean? Oh, you got to catch them. You cut the chicken's head off and it's still running. I mean, how much more proof do you need that they don't want to be under the knife? But I'm here because if they could speak any type of language audibly, we would have to listen to them. You know what I mean? If a cow, you watch cows going into the slaughter and they know what's about to happen. And if it could speak, it would tell you exactly, it would sound like a human. I don't want to go in there. I don't want to go in there. Please don't make me go in there. Please find something else to eat. Yo, I was eating acres of grass. Please eat that with me. We can eat it together. You know, we can talk while we eat it. I'll eat this grass. You can eat this kale right here. I don't touch the kale. You know what I mean? It can be like that, you know, but unfortunately we throw away those signs, you know what I mean? The fear when we have to pull a cow in to the slaughterhouse, that means it's conscious. It knows what's going on. And it also means that it's not made for us, and it didn't evolve into this, because if we evolved into this, then, you know, we would evolve into the predator and they would evolve into the prey. I mean, what's the sense in running when we got guns? You know what I mean? So the fact that they are running away shows that they care about their life. Now, the fact that they care about their life and they run away at the present moment shows that they are conscious of a future. Okay, the fact that they are teaching valuable lessons to their offspring shows that they have a future in mind. Okay, that they actually want to see tomorrow. They get a good night's sleep and they wake up at the crack of dawn because they like being alive. You know, they enjoy it. And animals, they never get depressed. I mean, if you look at animals with owners that don't have homes, you know, they're homeless, they're on the street, their dogs are there, you know, they're not depressed. They're happy. They're licking people. They're jumping around. You know, they're excited when they get the food. They could lose a leg. Animals with 2 legs, 3 legs, you know, and they have like these amputation type devices. They're jumping around as happy as can be. It's like, as long as they're alive. You know, we look at our arm, our half arm in the mirror, and it takes us a while to get over, and we think, what am I going to do without my arm? And we're crying, and it's very, very depressing. I mean, even if we were to lose a finger or even a digit of a finger, we lose a digit of a finger and we act like, you know, life is over. No one's going to look at it as the same. Anybody that looks at it, you're self-conscious about it. You're trying to hide your missing digit. Animals, it's like, yo, take me as I am. You know what I mean? And I'm going to show as much love and compassion to you as if I had my whole paw or my whole leg. You know what I mean? So it's very hard to depress an animal unless they're in a cage in a zoo and they're running around and chasing their own tails and, you know, throwing poo at each other and all furious and just lazy and lethargic. You know what I mean? That's depression. I don't visit zoos at all. That's not vegan. You see, this debate isn't about what we eat. You know, hopefully we get some emails in the chat. This debate isn't about what we eat. It's about the lifestyle in general. Do we need animals at all to function, to go throughout our daily lives? Do we need animal skin for our car seats or for our seats in our living room? You know what I mean? Do we need leather on our feet? How disrespectful is that? Kill the cow and then put the skin on your feet so you can trash it up and muck it up and then throw them out. You know what I mean? No more burying the animals. None of that. It's sad. KT420, what up? I stopped drinking milk because I'm not a cow. That's right, we're not a baby cow. Why the heck does anybody still drink milk? It's gross. And then when you put milk in like a coffee or tea and you leave it overnight and you see the milk curdle up in the middle and it's like a little clump, yo, you don't need that. Go to almond milk. It doesn't curdle. A plant-based milk doesn't curdle. All right? Sorry, I was dealing with some business here. Dealing with business, man. The snow, it's sneaky. What up, Sir Drop? Yo, if anybody wants to come up here, like I said, put your emails in the chat and we can just talk together about, you know, how wrong it is to exploit animals, other living beings, for, you know, what they have, their horns or their organs or their skins. You know what I'm saying? What didn't you know, Adam Jeringer? Yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, Missile Only the Wise says there's a good documentary called Dominion, and yes, it's gonna touch you. It's gonna make you feel something. And if it doesn't make you feel anything, then you gotta check your emotional center. And I just said the other night on Brother Sanchez's channel that our emotions are a gift. And as a child, when we see an animal being slaughtered in front of us, you know, it's devastating. And it's not long before that sadness is overridden with the habit of killing the animal. If you're a farmer's child, it's, you know, a week into it, you're all right with it. Hey, you're killing the animal yourself. You know, the father explains to you, don't worry, you know, this is what they're made for. They're our cows. We were made to kill them. God gave us dominion over them. And that's not the way it should be. All right. Race Lever wants to get on. Sir Drop, thank you very much for that donation. I really appreciate that. As I walk through this valley of the shadow of death and exposing the dark side of our diets. Race Lever, where are you? Race Lever. All right. But you need protein, bro. Protein. What's protein? Is protein what I think it is? I hope not. Yo, Race Lover, put you already dropped? You dropped your email? Willie Little John, what's going on? Peace. Thank you so much for that donation. I'm definitely going to be putting these donations to a righteous use. Lever, Race Lever, put your email in unless you already did. I'm checking now. I can't see your email. Drop your email in the chat. Anybody that wants to come up and just talk, just chat. If you have any questions, we can just chat it out. You know, Amp Dog Productions, what's going on? Peace and love to you. Thanks for joining me. Unique Unity, peace and love, fam. Much respect to everybody that came out for the vegan conscious tip. Conscious vegan is definitely here. Race Lever, you're retracting your messages. What's going on, brother? Can you get up here or not? The Impossible Burger. Okay, well, Bill Gates is sponsoring it. He dumped a lot of money into it, just like Leonardo DiCaprio dumped a lot of money into the Beyond Meat burger. The Impossible Burger, I hear, is the burger that McDonald's wants to use. It's just basically using plant-based materials like beets to make it bleed. There's a molecule in plants that mimic the heme iron. You know, the heme, like the blood, hemoglobin. Backpack So, thank you very much for that donation, brother. Much respect. I truly appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. To be able to be donated to while talking about something like this, where 10 years ago you couldn't talk about it without getting trashed. So thank you very much. Aquarius, Colorado. It's fake blood, yeah. So basically they extract a type of iron from the plants and they inject it basically back in to the wheat and soy mixture, and then it bleeds. It has like a pinky, it has like a pink tone to it. And they also put things like coconut oil in it so that when you're frying it starts to sizzle up. You know what I mean? And gets that burnt, crispy edges. A lot of people are going over this way. Vegan fast food restaurants are on the rise, 100%. Here in Toronto is a great place to be a vegan. There's a lot of options, so many options in Toronto now that you don't, you don't have to be hungry. You don't have to be looking for something. In everybody's restaurants has some sort of catering to vegan. Doomie's has a great vegan Big Mac. They got like a vegan Thousand Islands dressing, and it tastes really, really good. It tastes just like the real thing. So yeah, man, it's everywhere. The lifestyles are changing. When you look at this bright green, beautiful food, we're no longer calling it rabbit food. When I was coming up into this, they say, "Oh, you eat rabbit food all the time," but no, it's. I mean, when you look at this food, how can you think disease? How can disease touch you if you got this going in your system? Even if you're eating things like garlic, it doesn't matter because you're plant-based. It's gonna work with you. Okay, your body's gonna know what to do. The garlic becomes deadly when it enters your bloodstream. Yes, but since we're not injecting garlic, and I'm not saying go out and eat garlic, but what I am saying that is you don't have to be, so strict where you can't go to a restaurant and get like a vegan garlic bread, or your salad dressing has a little bit of garlic in it, because you have no blockages in your body to hold on to the allicin and the what is the it's another arsenic. You don't have anywhere to store that up. Nothing's going to catch on to that. So look here, you got your oils, right? You got your oils, great for the fats, transporting fats in your bodies. You got the herbs, microgreens, seaweeds, and grass. This is where you get your minerals from, your abundance of minerals, but it's also where you get your oxygen from, okay? The green. And down here too. See how it's at the bottom? That means we should be eating it the most. So all of these, should complement the salad. You know what I mean? Fruits and vegetables, great for the water. These are abundant. The fruits are abundant with water. You got to watch out for your starchy vegetables, but your vegetables have an abundance of fiber. Okay, they all got minerals. Sprouts and legumes, great for prebiotics. There's microbacteria in here that are going to work with your body. The legumes, you got to watch out for them being starchy. I definitely suggest sprouting them first. Man, let me get back to the chat. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to debate. I'm here to debate. What's going on, Shirley? How you doing? How is everybody doing on this flat plane of ours? Sir Drop TV asks, will a blood transfusion change the way you feel about things? Yes, most definitely. Now, when you get somebody else's organ inside of you, there you go. When you get somebody else's organ inside of you, you often pick up their character traits. I remember seeing, in fact, this one news special is on the mainstream even. They talked about how this man who didn't typically like Mexican food to begin with needed a new kidney or a new liver. And because those are the processing centers, they were used to processing a lot of Mexican from this dead Mexican man. So he got a liver or organ from a Mexican man. And after that transplant, he liked Mexican food, and he never, typically liked it before. So taking the information, the vibration of something else and putting it in you is a really good and fast way to maybe overcome something. For example, if we have a blood transfusion, say we have dirty blood, or say we're in a crash and we need blood or whatever, getting clean blood from, say, like a vegan, right? Something without floating trace amounts of testosterones and bacteria and steroids and growth hormones and antibiotics and pus and mucus and, you know, all the adrenaline, all that other stuff, right? When you get like a nice clean blood, that is filling up your body, which is information. Blood is information, right? It transports the light, transports the information. And you can suddenly, you will have lighter thoughts. You know what I mean? My friend who was shot said that they had to go see a therapist, and they said that due to his anger issues, they recommend him go vegan. And what's going to happen? You're going to cycle the meat products out of your blood and be more calm. You know what I mean? And it was like a 180 degree switch for this guy. I mean, he turned right around. You can do a blood transfusion with coconut water. Okay, it's that pure. Okay, yeah, conscious vegan arsenic. Yeah, you have my back on that one. Yes, it's that pure that you could get blood transfusion with an intravenous with young coconut water. All right, let's see. Let's see. If you're not your own doctor, you are a fool. Hippocrates. You know, something makes me think that Hippocrates was Imhotep. Just you know, since they married the cultures, they had different names. Herbal blood transfusions. Yep. Anybody, yeah, drop your email like Manny Pinocchio says. Drop the email, man. Drop the email, guys, and we could talk about this. We could talk about why we should be vegan. Why meat eaters, people that pay for meat, are actually unconsciously destroying the planet quicker. You know, the plane that we live on. You know what I mean? Hemp seeds and cannabis are amazing for that. Yep. Hemp seeds and cannabis, baby. Hemp, almond milk, anything is better than animal milk, right? Anything is better than animal milk. You know, it doesn't have pus in it, because animal milk has pus in it. It's just cooked. It's just cooked. You know, it doesn't cook it out of it. It doesn't clean it. It's just, you have bacteria that is cooked. So now you have dead bacteria in your milk. They can't infect you because they're dead, but the corpuscles, the bodies, are still there. Yep. Hola, Danny from the Bronx. What's going on? Hey, if anybody knows somebody that speaks out passionately, you know, for meat eating, like, yeah, we need meat, drop the email. You know, drop their email. Hit them up. You know, get them on the line. Say, yo, you gotta debate this brother, because I'm going all out, man. And you know what? This first show, it might be slow, but it's gonna catch. It's gonna catch on. Trust me. Once it gets up to the 500 views and whatever, it's gonna catch on, man. Okay, someone, Danny dropped his email. There you go. Yeah, man, we gotta get everybody off of the meat eating. It's a type of slavery. You know what I mean? I mean, we speak out about slavery. We speak out about treating people with, yeah, Race says good luck. Yo, Race lover, why don't you get up here, man? You don't gotta be afraid. You know, I don't bite. I only bite plants. You know what I'm saying? I only bite plants.
What's up, Master P?
What's going on? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, my brother. I just got in. I saw you were live, and I put my email, but I don't know what I got myself into.
Well, hey, if we have anybody that wants to speak out for rape and torture and murder, then you're gonna have a pretty lit night tonight, because you know how they get defensive about eating their meat, right?
Well, I live in Central Florida right now. Okay. I'm staying in Central Florida. Everybody here barbecues. It's like a common thing, especially on Sundays. People just they literally just bring their dead carcass outside to cook it so they can eat dead carcass. I don't understand that. Now, granted, I've been all my life been a meat eater. Okay, that's how I grew up. My family eats pork in Puerto Rico. We eat a lot of lechon. Okay, and we eat cows. We eat chuletas. We eat all that stuff. Everything is fried. That's why we all dine over there. So what you're doing here is very important because it also helps me get more knowledge and spread through my personal channels that I do, and I give little hits and stuff like that. But about the cow milk you talking about, I actually wrote a thesis in my college for my bachelor's about cow milk and the damage it could do to their human body. Because cows are cows. We're not cows. We're human.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's like, programming a Mac with Windows software. You know what I mean? You're going to be setting it up for something wrong. We're humans. And if you're giving milk, animal milk, something that programs a cow, a baby calf, to become an adult calf, why would you want that programming software to go into your baby human? Because it's going to grow up and it's just going to be out of sync. It's going to have mucus, sleep in its eyes when it wakes up, runny noses, big, thick cheeks, hives,
Overweight.
overweight. Yep.
Well,
Yeah. When I bring my daughter to these like kids clubs, and I see all these kids running around, man, it looks like they all got something. They all got like some neon yellow boogers, overinflamed cheeks. Their wrists are thick and and my child is nice and lean. You know what I mean? She's a lean girl. Never wakes up with sleep in her eyes. Never has to wipe the cold out of her eyes. Runny noses is very solemn. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, I hear you. I want to tell you something. When I wrote that thesis, I had an A+. My professor gave me an A+, and she wanted to use it as a example, or I don't know what she told me. She told me if I can use it, if I could give her permission to use it. I don't know if she was going to publish it or use it as a reference. A week later, she told me an email and told me that it was okay, that she couldn't use it because the school would not allow it because my school used funding from cow milk companies. So that the thesis was going to make them look bad. Can you believe that?
I can believe that, actually. It's sick, but I can believe it. Just the fact that it raised red flags like that. You know what I mean? That must have opened your eyes.
Yeah, well, yeah. I just never liked milk as a kid. Never liked milk. I never drink milk. I was kind of forced to drink the milk, like my mom made me or my aunt, which when I was a kid. But I never liked milk. My daughter is not a big milk eater. You know, I always have the almond milk. Always had the coconut milk. Now my background is in science, but my undergrad degree is in alternative medicine. So I'm very influenced and very, you know, my background is on this exact same thing you're speaking of. But from where I'm from, my culture is very close minded. They don't want to believe that they're being all poison. They don't want to believe that the food they eating, they go to these cheap stores like the Save-A-Lots, the dollar stores, and they go get bread from there. They get the eggs from there. That's all bleachy bread. All that bread is full of bleach. Whenever it's white, no bread is white when it's being cooked, first of all. So the only bread that I eat is sourdough bread, and then I barely eat it, but if I have to. But the cow thing, the milk, the cow, all that stuff is we're not cows, so our bodies are not meant to chew meat. Or when you look at the mandibula, the way it could grind sideways in and out, that's meant for plants. That's what the body's meant from. As but when we are kids and we are baby, we're supposed to drink our mother's milk, not a freaking cow's milk or Gold Star milk. And right now your show only has like I think like 30 something viewers right now, but one day you're gonna have 500 viewers. and hopefully by that time, people are more aware that what they doing is on purpose. They call us goyams for a reason. All right. I don't know if you ever heard of that term, but they call them goyim. A goyim is a fucking cow, a lazy cow, a tainted cow. So that when they refer to us, and this is the 13 council of satanic families, when they refer to us, it's goyams, and they don't want the masses to know that because this is their secret. But we're not freaking cows, we're human beings, and we are beings of light. So we need to recharge our body with the proper food. Okay? And I believe in you, Master P, and anything you need. I got hundreds of books and research of alternative medicine, acupuncture, chiropractor, you name it. I have some literature here, and we can always work together and write some good stuff. Come up with some, like you said, you wanted to come up with some diet plan, all that stuff. I already been there, done that. So I got a lot of literature that helps people, but I know I'm going long-winded, so I'm gonna let you talk.
No, man. Hey, I love it, man. I'm able to, finally sit back and let other people, talk about, how they feel about animal exploitation. You know what I mean? Because it's definitely got to stop. There's thousands of alternatives, and it's not really an alternative to me. It's like the meat was the alternative. It's like we definitely grew up in this world as vegans, you know what I mean? And somewhere along the way, we switched and found an alternative to the plants. And what's going on, Pierre Corey?
What's good, bro?
Man, I'm just chilling. I'm just defending the people that can't speak, man, for themselves. Hey, Humpback Speedy says, what kind of protein do I consume? And I just wanted to quickly say that all plants, all vegetables, all fruits have some level of protein in it and amino acids. And from that, we build our own proteins. And remember, guys, it's not it's not the protein that we're looking for. It's the amino acids to let our bodies build our own proteins designed for what exactly we need. Okay, if we take in protein that is already built up in the plant, then all we're doing is just tearing it down into nitrogen, okay, which is what the animal did. So there's no protein left in the animal, but you want to go for the amino acids, which are in the seeds of things like hemp seeds and flax seeds and the pear seeds, the apple seeds, and that is going to allow your body to make its own protein, specialized for you. What's going on, Pierre Corey? Talk to us.
Man, I rock with everything you're saying, bro, because I'm a vegan myself, man. It took me I slowly had to make steps and wake up over time. I had to, I got off of the chicken just last year. And, along with that, I gave up, things like the microwave too. But I just wanted to say, and I really don't want to, I know y'all try to stay away from religion and I do too, but I just think that it's so funny, it really goes with the topic of what you said. It's just funny, man. You know how the Bible says stuff about, and it go to what Bro Sanchez be teaching us too. Jesus is just another form of, Satan. It's crazy when you start breaking all of that stuff down, but it tells you, not to eat certain, picking over what type of, animals not to eat. And then these type of animals are okay. I just wanted to say, like anybody who's a Christian and believes in that type of stuff, and think that it's right to kill, an animal that's not harmed anybody, that's like a satanic ritual right there. All of the blood that's being spilled behind all of these, innocent animals and everything is something. I just got something in my heart to tell me that it's something, that we don't know about, or, we destined to find out.
Yeah.
In my studies, I have come to my personal conclusion. They are doing this on purpose because eating meat, creates parasites inside your body. So we are all full of parasites, and these parasites make a habit inside your body. So your chi or your bioenergy or your prana, whatever you want to call it, that energy that we can all use a Volton meter and can measure and can ground ourselves, that chi is what they after. Because if you are 100%, then you can tap into that source. But if you're not, if I can make the whole population sick, then I can decrease that chi, and then they don't. If I can do it without them knowing it, it's better. But see, some of the people like Master P, Brother Sanchez, and there are other guys that I follow. They've been telling us about this stuff. They've been they're poisoning us with this stuff. They're doing it with the hip hop. They're doing it with the mute. They're doing it with the food, GMOs, herbicides, pesticides, all this stuff. So you have to be, when I got into organic food and all that stuff, then you have to understand who's growing the organic, what kind of seeds they doing. When you get deep and deeper, then it gets more and more complicated, because then you start seeing that even the organic people, big companies, organic, you got to be careful with these people, because not everything is 100%. All they have to reach is 80%, and they get certified. So that's another thing that I learned. But they doing this on purpose because they want to decrease that energy, so then you can have more prone to being more negative, more prone to look for violence. You see it. I'm not even bugging out. They're doing this on purpose. Yesterday, they shut down the West Fargo servers. They say it was a mistake, but to me, I think it's on purpose. They're doing it to get people aroused, to get them all scared. You see what I'm saying? Little by little, so they could just deploy for them within inside, and they get everybody angry. And eventually, people are gonna go out in the street and gonna hurt whoever they don't recognize. They're gonna hurt them, and that's what they want. They want to see that, and I can see that coming, because you can see the little riots here. You see people killing each other over here. The Uber driver, the lady that got stabbed, she got stabbed like 15 times. They put that on TV. They put that a lot to make you more angry. Remember what Prince says. Prince, the formerly known as Prince, whatever his now, that he's dead now, God rest his soul. He said it. They poisoning us through the air, and then everybody gets in the street and starts fighting. He said that years ago, and that's what's happening right now. I'm gonna sit back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all gonna manifest. It's all in the ethers, man. I mean, these cries of these innocent victims. I mean, it's not even about what we eat. It's about like the games too. I mean, the cries are going out. It's filling up the ethers, man, and it's tapping into our subconscious mind. All this death and despair, and it manifests in our reality, man. And like Danny said, man, they show it to us. And that appeals these demons out of us. I mean, when we go to the store and we see this, how do we just see a product and not body parts? I mean, these are just body limbs. That's all it is. And I don't walk past this section because I don't need anything from this area of the groceries.
Yeah. I don't need it. I made it my habit not to walk there ever.
Mm-hmm. We don't need it. Someone's asking me what my zodiac sign. I'm a Leo. Apparently, I say apparently because Augustus added August, and my birthday's in August, and if he added that month, then what am I really? That's why I can't rock with any of that. Now look at this. Like, look how I've actually never really seen spots like this before. Like, they kind of look like scales. But I mean, the whole fur trade industry, the car seats, the fashion, all of it, the dogs out east, the pigs here, just death and destruction. And you're eating that. How long have you guys been off the meat?
I've been off of chicken for a year. As far as everything else, like pork and all of the other type of red meats, beef and stuff, I've been off of this since 2011.
That's dope. That's mad lives.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Yo, that's mad lives saved, yo. You don't
But
even know.
I'm completely vegan now. You know, I can't lie. Here and there, I have like some cheese problems, man. You know what?
Yeah,
Not
cheese
cool.
is addicting. Yeah, cheese is actually addicting. They add a bunch of sugar into it, and also when they pasteurize it, it concentrates the proteins, and so it's something that once you put in, it's like a heroin. It's a carcinogenic, and I mean eggs as well. Eggs are addictive. They're the #1 cause of diabetes, and most people have it, you know, in the morning for their breakfast. Their insulin all messed up. So, I mean, the egg, I mean, if you think about it, you're eating the period, a chicken period. You know what I mean? It's your period.
Yep, a menstrual cycle.
Yep. It's just unfertilized. Women lay eggs too, but they flush it down the toilet, or they catch it in a cloth, you know, a tampon or or Tampax or something. And that egg, even though it's microscopic, it goes there, and then they flush it down the toilet. It's a little life. It's a potential life discarded. And when we pick up an egg, that is a potential life discarded. It is it is an unfertilized egg. And if the rooster was to fertilize that egg before it got the shell on it, then there would be a chicken inside. But instead, there's just a little, you know, embryo inside the yolk, and that yolk is what feeds the growth to the little chick. So it's not like we're eating. It's not like the yolk is the little chick. You know, that is the sac, like the placenta sac, almost like that feeds the chicken.
I know, man.
Yeah, this shit is crazy.
The way you make it sound right now, you're making me feel disgusted.
It should make everybody feel gross to eat a period, and it usually comes out with a little bit of blood and poo on it, and then the farmers wash it off.
Yep.
Yeah, the farmers wash it
When I
off.
was a kid in Puerto Rico, we had chickens all the time, and I saw that. So that's true.
Yeah, that's true. And if I took an egg out of your fridge, and I took a poo, and I rolled it around in my poo, and then I washed it off, and I gave it to you, would you eat it?
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
And you know, and a lot of people are like, well, you know, it's an animal, we're supposed to eat it, and we're there eating our plate of animal, and then an animal will jump onto the table, and you'll say, ew, get down, you're dirty.
Yeah, you know what kind of mind boggles me? That what as you put it was I don't know, it was a Harvard study or one of these big colleges I read, that they took two kids maybe like 10 years old, both female male, and in a room, and put raw food like a piece of chicken, just put a bunch of stuff raw, and then on the other side of the other table put fresh fruits and vegetables, and told the kids go ahead and eat, and left them alone. And the kids did not eat none of the meats. They went straight for the foods, for the fruits and vegetables. And then in the other room, they did the same thing with animals, with a cat and a dog. And the dogs and the cat went for the meat, raw meat. They ate the raw meat. So why is it that when we are kids that we have no, not a lot of knowledge, we know what's right. But when we get old, we lose that knowledge and we start acting like a bunch of fools.
Man, indoctrination. That's my only answer I can give. You know, when you see people,
Word.
when you with your family and stuff, and you seeing everybody eating that stuff, you know, a lot of times, you know, and I don't mean to really, even bring race into it or anything. That's an illusion word, but you know, black people. I can only speak for myself growing up, but they would shame you, man. You know, if you say, when I first started waking up and I said, man, I don't eat hamburgers and all of that crap like that. I only eat chicken. Really, and it took me a long time to realize chicken is that horrible, but they'll shame you, man, if you don't eat meat and stuff like that. So you know what I'm saying?
Spanish people too. They all make fun of you.
Man.
In Christmas, like around uh Thanksgiving, all the way to Christmas, that's all they eat. Either pork, sugar, or alcohol.
Man, everything we do is just completely destructive. Like it on the holidays, we celebrate destruction. That's all it is. So it's crazy you just said that, man. We should be feasting, nuts and like,
The funny thing is about Christmas, the Christmas day, 25th, December 25th, was a day that back in the days, it was, I don't know if it was the Romans, but the Roman king will give that day for them to have like kind of like a all out day to have do what they want. They can even have fights, have sex with whoever they wanted, fight,
like a
eat all the
purge.
foods. And that's how we still do it today.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a purge if you think about it.
Yeah, pretty much. The king was kind of like he gave those days to his pretty much everybody, kind of like his soldier, his army. He'll give them kind of like the day off on the December 25th, and they could do whatever they want. They could even kill each other if they wanted to, but it had to be inside that city. And it's amazing because when there are Christians who go to church that day and they just pray, but there are these other Christians who call themselves Christian, but they drink and they party, but they still go to Sunday mass or whatever.
Right.
So it's kind of weird how that tradition still to this day is celebrated.
Yeah, it is, man. It's just real messed up, man. The way that we treat animals, it really, it reflects, our,
I don't
intention.
celebrate. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving no more.
See it, and the thing is, like with these holidays, I feel like I don't have a problem with holidays, and that's kind of what I was saying earlier. You was real right about what you said about the, um, Thanksgiving and December 25th and that day and stuff and the meat eating. See, I have no problem with the holidays, but I feel like if we switch the motives behind it, it could really be something beautiful if people woke up, and like on Thanksgiving, people feasted nuts and harvested nuts and fruits and all of the stuff that falls down in the fall time off of the trees, because that's all that the earth is going to sleep in the fall. It's not dying; it's just going to sleep into a hibernation state. And on Thanksgiving and stuff, that's a good thing to do to bring people together. Harvest things that we're supposed to be eating, and not all of this meat and having a pig sitting on a table with the apple in the mouth and stuff. Like what type of stuff is there really? With an apple in the mouth but a funky ass pig on the table. You gotta be me, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I don't celebrate Thanksgiving not because of the food. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving because that was probably one of the worst days in the history of this country. Many people died, and the people who did the killing was actually celebrating Thanksgiving. The reason why they celebrated was kind of like the kind of like the ones who survived, and they should be thankful they survived. So that's what Thanksgiving started. But a lot of Native Americans die because of that holiday. So when we in the East Coast, or celebrate that day, it's kind of like to think family members. But in the Native American tribes, they don't celebrate that. They actually mourn their families who died that day. So as respect to the Native Americans, that's what my bloodline comes from as a Puerto Rican. I don't celebrate that day no more because of that. I might hang out with my friends, but I will not celebrate that day because of that. And
And
that's what I mean.
I highly respect that, man. That's the truth.
Yeah, I've stopped celebrating actively Thanksgiving, that was the first thing for me to drop. That was, I mean, over a decade ago. I just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, in high school, I knew the concept, so it didn't take me long to put that together, because, I mean, if we're celebrating the death of a former nation, then, it didn't sit well with me. And, anybody that comes up here trying to really defend this industry, look what they're defending. You know what I mean? It's just it's brutality. They're defending something that they wouldn't want to have happen to themselves, and that's the biggest thing.
It's death and blood. It's the blood, man. They want us to eat this blood. This that's dirty blood, or whatever they call it. But it's the blood they're messing with. They want us to be like cows.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like that blood, man, it has a lot to do with that, satanic, sacrificing and stuff like that. That's why I was saying the meat industry is low key kind of satanic, if you really think about it. It's, and the way that they kill them too, like they don't put them to sleep or anything. It's like they intentionally like put those things to, like cows and pigs and stuff through stress, man, like before they die. It's just real torture, man. It's jacked up. I just really think sometimes, but it's really humans getting dead like this too, whether we know it or not, somewhere on this earth where we don't even see it. But that's a whole another subject, but shit, it's just messed up. We wouldn't like it if it was us.
That's right. And Deuce Muse says, man, I agree with most of what y'all talking about, but steak is effing delicious. And what I want to say about that is it's not you that thinks that the steak is delicious. And I'll tell you why. If you knew a vegan friend, right, and you ate them, you would probably be disgusted at the taste and all that, because you have no, antibodies towards that. Your blood's never filtered that before. But if you were to smell the meat, the flesh that you've been eating, something that your mom was eating when you were in her womb, something that you got used to before you were even born, then yeah, it's gonna smell good, because the parasites in there, they're making it smell good for you. The hookworms, the tapeworms, these are all parasites, right? And they live inside of us, and they pump out certain kind of chemicals that makes us think that flesh tastes good, because that's what they need to survive. That's how they are parasites on us. They change our thoughts, because the vagus nerve that connects the stomach.
So all of your immune system's right in your stomach.
Right, exactly, right? All that stuff happens there. Those trillions and trillions of guys down there. And we have a connection called the vagus nerve from the colon all the way up to the brain. Okay, and so they tell us what we want, what they want, and then we crave it. So you think that the steak tastes good, but once you get rid of those parasites, it's gone. That craving's gone.
You know how you get I found out that if you take some organic papaya seeds and swallow them, once they start breaking down, your body start breaking down the seeds, the parasites hate it, and they'll start freaking coming out of your butthole.
Damn.
Yeah.
We all got them, man.
Black
we all got them.
Hey, that's true. We do all have them. I was wanting to ask you too, Masterpiece, like as far as pets and stuff, like what do you think, like as far as our not necessarily even pets, but just our interaction with animals and stuff, what do you think, because they say if you have a pet, you definitely have parasites as a fact, but how do we, avoid that, if we have pets and stuff?
Well, first of all, we shouldn't have pets. Okay, number one, we shouldn't own animals. We shouldn't think that they're things to be sold in stores and bred. But since we do have them, yeah, you're right. You're much more likely to have parasites if you have pets, because they carry They carry it in their fur. They carry it in their saliva. Yeah, their saliva is stronger, but that doesn't mean their mouth is clean. I mean, you can take a bleach, a towel, and soak it in bleach and rub it in a pile of feces. Just because there's bleach on the towel doesn't mean you have a feces covered bleached towel. You know what I mean? So yeah, a dog's mouth is cleaner, but it's licking its genitals all day. It's licking its paws. It's licking the poo that it stepped in. You know what I mean? So to mitigate that, definitely don't let the
papaya right there. The papaya.
Yeah, there it is. Definitely don't let the pets lick you. I mean, I have a daughter, and I do not let animals lick her. I don't let her pet the animals. I mean, there's been a couple times where she's pet a dog, but like she was afraid to pet dogs, so I just let her be afraid. You know what I mean? I don't want her interacting and the dog licking her face and her mouth and kissing her and sleeping beside her and all that nonsense because they're animals. You wouldn't lay with them. You wouldn't breed with them. So yeah, having them in our house is not a good thing.
Right on. Yeah, I agree with all of that, bro.
We got to think about it like the pet industry. I mean, people say, you know, we got to save pets and rescue the pets. But the thing is that if we all come together and just stop the participating in the whole pet industry as a whole, then they wouldn't have to, you know, terminate these dogs, these over allotment of dogs, and gas chamber them and put them down, because we just simply wouldn't be buying them anymore. I mean, you know, it's like saying I'm against slavery, so I'm gonna buy all the blacks that I can. You know, I'm gonna buy all the black people I can, and I'm gonna give them a good home and put an end to slavery. You're not gonna put an end to it. You just, you know what I mean, giving a place for former slaves to go.
Right.
You gotta speak out against it. You say, I don't want no slavery purses, because they used to make, like, you know, skin shoes and human skin purses. I don't want no car seats. I don't want no fish oils, omegas. I don't want any of that. If it comes from an animal, just leave it alone. And then people say, well, what are we gonna do about the pet industry right now? What about all the cows? What about all the dogs? What about all the pigs, all the chickens, the parrots, the fish? You know, they're in the tanks, they're in the stores, they're in the farms. What are we going to do with them? Well, what we do is just we create sanctuaries, right? There's stadiums, there's football fields, there's huge enclosures, there's zoos that we could bring them to make the rest of their life very, very enjoyable and very pleasant. But then after that, no more breeding. Just let those animals live their days out in peace, and then there won't be another generation to have to save.
Yeah, that makes sense, bro. And you know, that tied into what I was going, you know, with back to the meat eating. Not meat eating, I mean fruit and, you know, veganism and everything. I just find it very funny when people say, you know, you eat plants, you're eating a living thing and everything. I get what they're saying, but at the same time, you know, if you ate all of these animals and everything, they'll go extinct, you know, but you can't eat, you know, plants and they go extinct, because it's always going to be some, unless they're GMO seeds, you know, or plant or whatever, you know, it's always going to be some seeds that make the next, you know, generation of trees grow. But if you eat all of one species or whatever, it's always going to go extinct.
Yeah, and you know, we got this soil depletion problem where the minerals aren't being replaced because we're over farming. And I think that we should have like huge skyscrapers of just plant farms, hydroponic farms. You know, let the soil regenerate, let the plants break down, and let the nitrogens replenish the soil. You know, plant some mushrooms. Mushrooms are great for taking radiation out of the soil. For places like Chernobyl and Fukushima, you'll notice that there's algae and mushrooms growing, because that's the Earth's natural defense to that. So we should be planting algae and different types of mushrooms to revert the soil's composition. and we should erect huge buildings as skyscrapers of greenhouses. We could do this out in we can do this out in the Arctic places where people have to pay, you know, crap loads of money to get their bell peppers, you know what I mean, transported to them. Look at this. We could have this, guys.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, man. You know, everything that we use, it's like, that's kind of like I was saying, you know, it's not the stuff that we have, the technology, it's not necessarily bad. It's about how we use it. It's a polarity to everything. You know
what kind of, if I was like what Master P is saying, like every building, every house, every place mandatory to have their own fruit and vegetable yard. And if buildings like that, I'll make them glass so people can see from the, so it could be nice, so it doesn't like a sore thumb, because there's always somebody gonna complain. But that's beautiful right there, what he has in his screen right now. There are already a couple of companies like that already in Canada and New Jersey who have massive greenhouses, but those are different. Those are really nice. Those are elegant. Here in Florida, where I live, there's nothing but farms, but there's no organic farm. Can you believe that?
That's messed up.
Dang.
All I need is $10,000 and I can start my own urban farm down here. I have the book. I've been reading on it. I have the permits. All I need is the money to come up with the 2 greenhouses. Believe me, we can make money here. There's nobody here. No competition in this part of Central Florida.
That's good, bro. It's a lot of flat land out there. They say that's the flattest part of the United States, right?
Yeah, second is Kansas City, I believe.
Right. Yeah, so there's plenty of land out there for that. And it's just, you know, we just got to really, you know, network with people, you know, like we got like-minded people on the panel right now, us 3, and the many more that we know of. We just got to keep on networking with people, you know, like we see these skyscrapers, you know, masterpieces presented right now. If we find a flat earther / you know, truth seeker, you know, who is an architect and can, you know, create something like that, you know, we just got to connect and everything. That's why I say we need to create our own secret society, you know, underground that way. Because as long as we put in everything that we're trying to do out, you know, it leave your, you never know who's watching, who got ill intent or anything, but it leave them, people know your plan and stuff. But we can definitely do everything that we're, you know, talking about right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could have these skyscrapers can be fueled by, you know, solar power, you know, geothermal energy, you know, all of that kind of stuff, renewable energy. And you know, about the pets, about owning animals, you know, people will say, you know, well, dogs are man's best friends, but, you know, what about fish, and what about cats, and what about lizards, and all these other things that people take for pets? It's not just dogs. And also, dogs being a man's best friend, that could have been any animal, but our history just wound up that it was, you know, dogs. If we wanted it, it could have been foxes. You know, we could have been foxes and genetically breeding foxes with coyotes and wolves and making little breeds of them. But we didn't do that. It happened to be another part of the canine family. And we are where we are today. But because we have pets today, you know, should we continue it? Because, you know, some human slaves had good lives. They had masters, quote unquote, that weren't, you know, that weren't malicious people, that wouldn't just pull out the whip for no reason. You know, there would be slaves that were jealous of the other slave that would, you know, be treated so well. So yeah, you could give an animal a good home. But, you know, what happens when you open that door? You're telling the animal, you know, stay in, hey, get back away from the door. Why? Because he wants to get out there. He wants to, you know, my dog ran away. Well, yeah, what is it telling you? You know what I mean? Like, you're putting up posters to try to find your dog, and maybe it's going through some stress now because it doesn't have its usual feeding times and all that, and it's lost. But I mean, point blank period, a dog should be able to run wherever it wants to run, whenever it wants to do that. And as long as they're in our rectangular houses with slippery floors that they can't grip onto, so they're bashing into the walls, and door handles that they're locked into some areas of the house, you know what I mean? It's not a natural environment for a dog, and it would definitely prefer a cozy outdoor forest any day.
That's why they're always running away.
Yep.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, man, I got one dog right now. I can't lie, man. But you know, after hearing this, you know, after you know, whatever happened to Marley, man, you know, I might not have another dog in my life, bro. Hearing this, you know, I always have thought about that, but you know, it just like everything we want as far as freedom, the same. That's what we should be providing for the animals and stuff. Just like we find out, you know, that we've been on a prison planet, this ball and everything, and there might be more land out there, and a lot of us think about, you know, and fantasize probably what could be out there. You know, it's the same thing with a dog whenever they're fenced in inside of the cage. You
know? Not too far from where I live right now, there is like slaughterhouses for the cows, and sometimes I gotta drive through there. And you know how sad that makes me feel that all those little cows, all the, you know, because they let them run outside, some of them, but the majority are inside. That, you know, those cows, one of them are going to be slaughtered to be feeding the fast food restaurants around the same area, because that's what they do.
It's just sick. It's sick, man. Seeing them hanging upside down, and you know, like they, you know,
in the middle of nowhere.
Mm.
I'm just reading the comments, you know what I mean? Because this pet thing is very touchy, because a lot of people have pets, you know what I mean? But what I want to say is, who is the benefit really for? I mean, we can't individualize this, guys. For everybody out there watching, I'm going to cut my camera on. We can't individualize the pet issue. We can't say, well, I have a pet and I treat my pet really well, and if, you know, we let pets go, they're just gonna, you know, run wild, and they're not used to it. They're gonna get hit by cars and run into the traffic and stuff like that. And some people are saying, well, we need dogs on a ranch, you know what I mean? But my point is, we don't need the ranch. We don't need the farm. We don't need to eat meat. We don't need wool for clothing. We don't need goose down to stay warm. We have other fabrics to do that. So we don't need animals at all. So we don't need a ranch. We don't need a farm. So we don't need a dog on the ranch. A lot of times we will say, my dog is, you know, I treat my dog really well. Well, what about the millions, the billions of other animals that are in the pet trade? If you go to a PetSmart or like a pet shop, you're not just faced with a dog. There's parrots, there's snakes, there's mice, there's chinchillas, there's cats. You know what I mean? So it's a whole thing. So we can't personalize this and be like, well, you know, well, my pet is this, and I save my pet from an animal, you know, because then we get into the whole, well, my slave, I treat my slave good, and my slaves, they eat and they be working hard, but I don't be whipping them, and you know what I mean? To say that if we let the animals go, they're gonna run wild and get hit by cars and stuff like that, that's not a good way to manage the way that we phase them out. If we're gonna phase out pets, first of all, there's some dogs that can survive in the wild. Okay, there's other smaller dogs that will band together like other smaller animals in the wild. So it's not, you know, it's not outlandish to think that your Rottweiler or your poodle is gonna be totally screwed in a forest. You take your dog on a walk, it's smelling everything, it remembers where it was, it marks where it was. It won't take long before it gets into the routine. But since they don't, maybe they don't have the antibodies and the microbiology for that, to handle getting sick in the wild and whatever. Like I said, the best plan of action would be to create sanctuaries for these animals that were previously owned, and to live out the last days of their lives being fed the best high nutrition meals and whatever. Because a lot of times the animals, we're getting them for us, right? We get them a gift for our kids. Maybe they don't take care of them, maybe they do. We get them so that we can feel comforted, and you know what I mean? We get them because, you know, we've always wanted a dog, we grew up with a dog. But what purpose do they really serve? In fact, it's more of a hassle a lot of times, right? Oh, I would love to go on a trip, but who's going to watch my dog? Oh, my dog was sick, I had to take him to the vet. $700 bill I wasn't expecting. You know what I mean? We're putting a lot of money and resources into these animals that don't have a real natural place in the world. We've kind of, you know, retarded them from that and, you know, separated them off. So like I said, we can't readily just put them back into the wild all the time. But what we've done was we've taken these animals and made them like a product, and now somehow we're thinking that, I don't know, we have to design our lives around them. You know what I mean? When they don't need us necessarily. If we put a dog out in a place like in a forest, it will probably be all right, right? Or if we put them in a sanctuary, it will definitely be all right. But will we be all right? You know, are we going to be the ones to say, well, but I missed the dog and I wanted to do this with the pet? Now, I'm going to be long-winded now, so I'm gonna hold back, but and get back to the chat while you guys talk about that. The fact that, and at the crux of the matter, whether we release them into the wild or whether we put them in a sanctuary, the fact is, should we own animals in the first place? Because they are a lower life form, quote unquote, right? They are less able, they can't turn doorknobs, they can't use knives and cutting boards, they can't vote, all these things that we can do that they can't do. So they're a subspecies is what we call them, right? Is it right to still own them? You know what I mean? Just because they can't do these things. You know, is it right to own a mentally handicapped person? Is it right to have ownership over things less intelligent than us? Or should we protect them even more? You know what I mean? So I'll fall back and let you guys have your little input on that.
Okay, man. Like, yeah, man, I'm gonna let them build real quick. I'm gonna let them go first.
What's good, everyone? What's up, B gang?
Hey, Matters. What's up?
I definitely resonate with the whole topic about animals and how we kind of try to facilitate and boost our ego by calling ourselves like the most intelligent species or whatever and taking ownership. It's the same tactic, you know, slavery implied on animals, and also the same thing with zoos. And also they even had, like, when they're enslaving some groups of people, not only Africans, but like, yeah, they would put them in cages and like they would actually have human zoos. But yeah, sorry, I might get long-winded in this topic, but yeah, the whole thing is that they don't need us, and Earth doesn't need us. Actually, if as humans we wouldn't exist, Earth would be thriving at this point. So it's either we serve a symbiotic relationship with Earth and animals, or parasitic. And right now we're serving a parasitic relationship on Earth, and it's our responsibility to take care of the innocent life that lives on Earth, the innocent species and Earth itself, which it's like children, basically, the animals, Earth. We have to balance that out, but we don't. And yeah, that's really disappointing. But yeah, we definitely serve a parasitic role on this Earth, and we need to change that.
Real talk. And I feel like, man, you know, like people, like as far as people owning pets and things like that. I think that a big problem is, you know, most people really look over the fact that most people get pets because they feel like it's, you know, this cute type of thing. People, I look at it almost like a relationship type of thing, you know, as far as, you know, you want to, when people get in a relationship with a significant other, usually most people, you know, feel like they own that person. That's where they get these titles, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, and then you're put under stipulations. You know, it's almost like a slave thing there too, to be serving the other person's needs as far as love. I'm not saying that having a pet is, you know, a correct thing to do. You know, hearing this wisdom and everything, I'm looking at it from a whole different perspective and things. And I think that, you know, it's very much like relationships. People just, you know, get pets a lot of times just because they feel like, you know, dogs are cute, or, you know, a lot of people really just get pets because they have a divine love for whatever animal, you know, just animals in general. But this is, you know, this is waking information, man. For real.
Yeah, and also like with the zoos and the, I don't know how to call it, like SeaWorld and all that. It's, you can observe the trauma the animals are going through, that some of them eventually die off because they're like rare species or species that are going extinct. But back, yeah, to the relationship conversation, like if something as small as bees or ants become extinct from this earth, it can't function anymore. But earth doesn't need us. It's a privilege to be here on this journey, to get a second chance even in this process that the creator has gifted us with. But instead of ascending, making it our mission to ascend and spread love and care for ourselves and our bodies and our temples from within and also without, around our environments and stuff, we don't choose to do that. And so far, I'm plant-based. I've been so for 2 years. Right now I'm 17. So I started when I was 15, the summer of 2016, around there. But yeah, so far the journey is grand. It's beautiful. I've seen myself improve and progress so much. And yeah, being more plant-based has definitely changed my heart. I feel like a lot of burden and trauma, and definitely the karma Masterpiece talks about is real. Like when we condone this bloodshed, it definitely plays a big part in our livelihoods and this system that's created around us. But yeah, I definitely encourage anybody who's thinking of going plant-based, do it. You have no idea how much you're doing, not only for yourself but for the environment around you, for the energy balances, for Earth's pH, for the ether's pH, you know. But yeah.
Yes. I mean, like I said, I'm showing pictures of lizards we're more disconnected with, you know, missing fingers, missing toes, and strapped up in a cage. This is not the environment. And for dogs, you know, this is not the environment dogs should be in cages. But this is a product of the pet industry. You know what I mean? Whether you have a pet or not, whether you bought your pet from a rescue shelter or like a good store or a highly reputable thing, the whole process of it is going to have to happen. And if you pay, then you're enabling that person who bred them to breed more, and you're actually encouraging them more. Oh, I got a sale, I'm gonna buy another Rottweiler, then breed another Rottweiler, and you know what I mean? And then, you know, sometimes an over allotment happens and they gotta be put behind cages. You know what I mean? I don't see the difference between any animal. I mean, what's the point in owning a rhinoceros? You know, oh, but dogs are man's best friend. Well, you know, what about smarter animals? You know, a lot of pigs are smarter than a lot of dogs. So you know, do we have pigs in our houses? And some people are going to say, yeah, I got a pet pig, but should you? I mean, what is it doing for you? Even if it did something for you, would it be right to have? I mean, the duck's fur keeps us warm. The duck's feathers, they keep us warm, but does that give us the right to pluck it off of their chest? You know what I mean? It's about the exploitation, right? It's about using animals for what they have to improve our lives and not regarding their own. You know what I mean? If we were to build sanctuaries, right? An animal sanctuary for these animals, and they can live out their last days in peace. You know, they can grow to 20, 30 years. You know, a dog, you know, a lot of people's dogs are obese. A lot of people have obese dogs. The dogs have worms and ticks. You know, why not put them in a sanctuary with workers? And you know, hell, we could even tax it. You know what I mean? And make sure that these animals live out the rest of their 10 years, 20 years, 30 years in a very happy environment, not breeding with each other. You know what I mean? Monitoring them so they're not breeding, and just slowly. And even if, say, they do breed, you know what I mean? It you know, for a generation or two, it's going to be a lot less than forcibly breeding them for money. You know what I mean? So the population will dwindle, and nature rarely does things overnight. You know, it's not like we're going to be vegan overnight. 1,000 people are going to become vegan next month. And then that means that it's going to shut down one farm. And then the next month, 2,000 vegans are going to come about. And then 3 farms are going to shut down. And then, or they'll convert over into a kale farm, damn it. You know, a quinoa farm. You don't got to grow animals. You could farm something else. Look at these animals getting together. You know, unlikely. Has anybody seen that show, Unlikely Animal Friends? Anybody jump in?
Yeah. My favorite bird with the hippo, because they help each other, like cleaning wise, and yeah, it's interesting.
Yo, much love, B-Strong. Thanks a lot for that donation. I really appreciate that, man. Yeah,
It's
go
like
ahead, guys. Look at these.
It's like these animals understand each other regardless of their species.
Yeah, exactly. Species that they would normally quote unquote eat in the wild, right? Like an owl will swoop down and take a baby fox, and a fox will definitely eat up a baby owl. You know what I mean? Or an owl if it could catch it. Look at this complete, you know, vegan chimpanzee caring for this baby lion, a baby tiger. You know what I mean? Dogs with the lamb. This dog's feeding the lamb. See, animals are taught the violence from us. You know, it fills up the ether. They see it firsthand. They're left in a deficit from us. So they, you know what I mean? But in the nature, you know what I mean? In different conditions, in a condition where everything is plentiful for everybody, where everybody gets a piece of the pie, then there's no need to eat anybody. There's no need for that dog who is feeding the lamb to eat the lamb. You know what I mean? Why is this tiger is not going to grow up and eat that monkey? Oh, but it's a carnivore. What's it going to eat? Well, not that monkey. You know what I mean? It's not. It's gonna. They're developing friendships. I see all of these types of videos, and it's mind blowing. I love it. For the pet situation, let me address something. Someone said, I think it was a vegan warrior. Said we've been dealing with this pet situation for, you know, thousands of years, and that's true. And I'm glad that point was brought up, because a lot of times we say, well, you know, that's how we do it in our society. You know, how are we going to change it? But you know, if we don't look at it like that, then racism would have never changed. I mean, you know, slavery, owning people, women's rights, you know, letting them into the workplace. And look how I even said that, letting them in. You know what I mean? I even feel like an idiot for saying that, letting them work. You know what I mean? How we still have editing to do, as you can see. So just because it's been happening for thousands of years doesn't mean that it's right, and it doesn't mean that it can't be corrected. So yeah, we've been breeding animals and having them in our house against our, you know, we clip parrots' wings. You know, when we want birds in the cages, we clip their wings so that they can stay in the cages. You know what I mean? So yeah, we've been doing that for thousands of years, but does it make it right? And does it mean that there's no solution? And does it also mean that we shouldn't try to talk about a solution? So we've been eating animals for even longer than we've had pets, because, you know, well, maybe not. Maybe we started caring. Well, we definitely cared for the animals, but I mean, I'm talking about pets as in a pet trade, like rounding up the animals, bringing them to across the country in whatever we had, and saying, hey, opening up the crates and say, hey, these are for sale, these are for sale. Oh, you want a cat? You want a cat? You want a dog? Okay, I got 2 cats. I got 2 dogs. Who wants a lizard? I got a lizards. I got parrots. I got, you know what I mean? That type of industry, that can be changed. And that type of industry has not been around as long as eating animals. And if we can speak out about eating the animals, then why can't we talk out about having them as our car seats? Why can't we talk about having them as our wallets, or about owning them as pets? Like, it's almost a contradiction for a vegan to own a pet. And I don't know if any of you guys are on the panel have ever thought about it that way, because you would think vegans love animals, thus, you know, they would probably have a lot of pets. But we don't come into these pets, you know, from the bird. It's not Cinderella. These birds don't fly to our window, and the mice don't come up and say, hey, how you doing, Cinderella? And then make our beds and help us make our beds while we're singing in the morning. It's not that kind of world. We have to trap and breed these animals and give them shots and snip their things off and cut their ears and put their tails up. Okay, this type of trade, we don't acquire these animals naturally speaking. So as a vegan, someone who is against using animals, exploiting animals, owning animals, how could we then turn around and buy animals, knowing that that dollar that we spent on that animal is going to fuel more of the horrific images on the screen of the pet trade? I mean, has anybody thought about that before? You guys can jump in and cut me off. Has anybody thought about that before?
Yeah, and also I've thought about it, but also I just noticed like a lot of these animals like that are kept as pets, they end up developing like cancers to certain organs later on. But when they're out in the wild, I don't think they're as likely to develop that because they're not eating processed canned foods and all that. They're getting everything fresh. And also the symbiotic relationship between all animals and their collective, which is also our collective because we are animals too. I feel like they're filled with more compassion, and the system because the system was created long time ago, probably I think it emerged when we started eating meat and eating animals, eating carcasses, and killing our friends, you know. But I think it's just like any other social structure that was created to own pets, because it probably started with the rich. The rich probably started owning pets, then it was seen as something to do. I think it's a way for them to somehow like it's a way for them to unconsciously desensitize us while consciously boosting our ego and giving us the, oh, we're the most intelligent species type of mindset, and also unconsciously like making us aware. I think they're aware that if nature is united, they're doing the whole divide and conquer thing too with nature. Nature is united. If these animals are united, they can easily like cause a shift and rebel and bring change, you know. But if they're kept in these little boxes, in these little prisons with humans, they're softened. Basically, they're not as organic in nature, you know. I mean, in organic as they would be in nature. But yeah.
Hey, Masterpiece, what do you think about horse and camel riders? Yeah, and y'all can answer that too. You know, I just want to ask that real quick.
Well, first of all, you could go to Egypt and get a camel ride. I hate that. You could go downtown Toronto or New York and get a horse-drawn carriage ride. I hate that. You can go out west in the freezing cold in the mountains and get a dog sled ride. I hate that. I cannot stand that. There's a rule in the animal kingdom, and that is spare your energy, because as an animal, you never know when you gotta up and jump and boogie. You know what I mean? If you are an animal, you don't know where your next seed or fruit is gonna drop. You know what I'm saying? Because we've created this scarce reality, right? Where we have this scarcity, right? We're destroying things, putting up neighborhoods. So for an animal that's living on like every day might be their last type of situation, they need their energy. And for us to, to just, get up, we got 2 customers that want you to walk around the block twice. Now you bring that horse out, saddle them up, put that bar in the horse's mouth or the camel's mouth. How would you like to have a bar in your mouth being pulled on? You know what I'm saying? I can't stand that. And you sit on it and you tell them where you want them to go, and then they just patiently wait there. I'm against that.
Hey, real talk, man. I agree with that, bro. I just had thought about that real quick because, I always question that as a kid. Like, all of these questions that I be coming up with now, when I be watching the shows and stuff, man, it'd be stuff like I thought about when I was a kid. I thought about flat earth as a kid and all of that stuff. So, I mean, it's just messed up to have, I feel like, to take any type of animal, under captive control and stuff, man. And especially, put stuff in their mouth and yank on them and crap. It's messed up. We just torture animals in any kind of way.
Yeah, for pets, to me, it's there's this thing where you can get assigned a pet if you have anxiety. So you get like an anxiety dog or an anxiety cat. There's things where if you have like a heart condition, then you have a dog that is around that can smell when you're about to have a heart attack. And there's blind dogs that lead blind people. You know what I mean? My whole thing is, for heart problems, let's look at the lifestyle they live. Have you tried healing yourself? Have you tried getting off the meat, the cigarettes? The meat is the #1 cause of cardiac disease. If you haven't tried that, we're so easy to just go, yeah, let me own that life and have it cater to me because I'm not willing to stop eating animals. So let me have this animal help me. Or for blind people, which is sad. But I mean, to assign an animal to the person just because that blind person is shit out of luck. I mean, I would hate to be blind, and I as an artist, that would probably be the worst sense to take away. But I would not then want to pay for a dog to show me around, because I don't know if that dog wants to be here or not. What kind of plans that dog had in its own life. It's not mine to own. Back in the day, if in a village, if a child was born blind, you know what I mean? It's not like you're searching for a dog to assign to that human. You take it as it comes. You know what I mean? And you grow up blind. But to I don't know. It's like we are starting to think, not starting. We are thinking of animals as products, as auxiliary. How can they help us? You know what I mean? But in more times, it's just doing us more damage. As soon as we eat it, we're doing more damage to us. And I'm seeing nobody dropping the emails about meat eating. So we're definitely going to have to share this to our friends, because we all got those friends that say, I can't live without my meat. And I'm sure you guys get that all the time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and what this journey teaches is to be mindful, truly, because because in Western culture they teach think with the mind and feel with the heart, but in Eastern like culture and philosophy they teach feel with the mind and think with the heart. And I think that, and also with like different cultures and philosophies I've been looking into it, and they're talking about the same thing with the three minds. So yeah, I feel like this whole animal species like taking them away from nature and raping them and pillaging them basically plays a bigger role than we can even detect. But also meat eating also it's like desensitizing us. I don't know how to explain it, but it's basically desensitizing us. And also I don't know if them taking away animals and traumatizing animals, like if it benefits, well it does benefit their control, but if it just keeps the system, it's one of the things that's really keeping the system going. Well, this capitalism, patriarchy, making money, dog eat dog world, you know. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that, how it correlates with this dog eat dogs western, I mean dog eat dog western type of culture and mindset and making money off of people basically? What's y'all's thought on that, and how it correlates with, you know, this trying to capitalize off of lives and their and off of the death and destruction of the lives?
Anybody want to tackle that? Because I could go in, but I want to hear what you guys have to say first.
Yeah, I was gonna let you go, bro.
Well, I would say it's like a pyramid system, right? I mean, we're slaughtering the innocence of being. They're not. I mean, they're past innocent. They're not even included. I mean, when we talk about guilty and innocent, we talk about, you know, people with the potential to be guilty. But animals don't even have that potential. An animal's not gonna stalk you and be like, you know, all jealous and kill you because you slept the night at somebody else's house. You know what I mean? They're just all love, and so their innocence is beyond pure. And you know, to take one of these lives and in the masses that we do, I mean, we are killing animals by the trillions every single year. And so if you think about a pyramid, that would be on the bottom of the pyramid, right? The animal slaughtering. And then as you get up, it would be like, you know, the wars and different races. And then right to the top, you have it in corporations, right? The dog eat dog mentality. I want your job and I don't care about your family. I want your position, and espionage and bribery and all that. So, I mean, the foundation of what we're building our economic pyramid off of, if at the foundation of it, the trillions of animals that are being slaughtered is sustaining us, sustaining our diets and our, you know, our car leather and our fashion and all that and makeup, then of course at the top it's going to manifest between, you know, human relations as dog eat dog type of reality. And it sucks that we even have that type of name for it, because dogs don't eat dogs. You know what I mean? I mean, dogs are packs and they pack together. And if they're very hungry and one dies, yeah, they're going to eat it. But I mean, dogs don't go around eating dogs. So yeah, go ahead. Somebody else jump in.
Hey, that's 100, bro. I agree with that. Shit. I mean, bro, you really said it all. Took the words out of my mouth on that. I can't really say too much.
You know, there's so many. It's not, you know, back when, before I was a vegan, I'm showing orangutans now because I'm showing their insanely huge size of teeth that say, oh, those are for canines. Canine, those are your meat eating teeth. No, vegans got them too. You know, there's so much things to say on this topic. That's why I opened up this debate, because veganism is something that is just there's so much morality in it, you know. And there's the people that eat meat will say, oh, you know, vegans, I can't stand them, they think they're on their high horse and they think they're better than everyone else. But I mean, what makes someone better than someone? You know what I mean? Maybe if you're a pedophile and you torture a woman and you're in jail, yeah, maybe there's people out there that's better than you, right? And if you hit children and you know, you hit women when you get in relationships with them, well, you know, you're probably, you know, a worse person than someone that doesn't do that. So for someone that doesn't pay for the exploitation of innocent beings, I would say, yeah, they are living a better life, a more harm-free life than somebody that is paying for the death of another being. So yeah, I mean, take it how it sounds, but if that hurts you, then good. Let it hurt you and reflect about what you're doing every single day, multiple times a day, what you're doing to innocent beings.
Real talk, killing is killing, man. You know, that's just it. That's just how I see it. Killing an animal is killing, just like killing a human. If you support it, you support it, and you know, it's fucked up. Period.
You know, I was wondering this scenario. Think about this. We accept all these massive killing. It doesn't happen in front of us, right? But let's just go and pick a very populated area and take a baby cow, right? You own the cow, right? You bought it, whatever. And let's in front of everybody, kill the cow in front of everybody. You see how people will feel about that. Right away, you guarantee you probably will go to jail for animal abuse and all this stuff. But it's okay to do it behind closed doors because corporations do it and they have license to kill. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. So I get what you're saying with animals and how, but I really, really, really would love to see a change to myself because today I've been sitting here and I'm letting you guys talk, but I'm listening to everything you guys are saying, but I'm dwelling on in my head because I'm messed up right now, you know?
Same here, bro. I understand. Like it'll throw you off. Just, you know, you just sit back and think about, and really what, like you might be thinking about the meat eating and everything. I'm thinking about that too, but I'm feeling the same way about the pets. You know, that's kind of like what had hit me earlier. But I'm listening to y'all too. I'm soaking in information.
You know, I love. Sorry, go ahead, Ma'aris. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I can definitely relate to what the brother Danny was saying about the animal slaughter. Like when I'd go to visit Kenya, like they have animals there, they have barns, and then I'll just walk around, nothing to do. I go say hi to the animal, the goat. I'm like, what's up? Just petting it and stuff. Then dinner time comes and it's the same goat they're gonna slaughter, and it's like, what in the world? Like I just had a whole conversation with that animal, and you're literally gonna slaughter it in front of me. And yeah, those are the little signs, the little seeds that just sprouted in my brain from when I was younger. I was like, wow, this has to end.
Yeah, it's amazing how many young ones are going vegan now. Like I see these videos online of little children asking, you know, what is this? And like, is it a real animal? And then they just freak out and bawl their eyes out. And man, like when it comes to the destruct, like you guys were saying, when it comes to the amount of areas, the pets, the fashion industry, all of that, the cosmetics. I mean, it's literally so embedded in our culture right now that most people don't even realize it. Like you don't realize that your belt, your wallet, some parts of your jeans, some pockets, some parts of your jacket, some parts of your hat, you know, may be made of animals. Your lipstick, some of your foundations out there, woman, You know, anything with honey in it, is made from an animal. You know what I mean? So silk, all of that kind of stuff made from an animal, and we just go around buying it like it's just a regular product, but we don't actually understand the process that it took. And I think everybody should watch a documentary called Earthlings, and that documentary will definitely make you cry and wake you up. And if anybody on the panel has seen it, please back me up on that.
Man, I wish I could, bro, but I haven't seen it. Like, I don't watch TV. I don't even own the TV, bro. I'm not gonna even lie.
Yeah, that's
on their phone. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's another one. Frankenstein, something like that. Fed Up. That's another good documentary about the sugar industry and all that stuff, and the meat, and how they take the baby chickens, and when they are males, they just grind them in a machine when they're still alive. Yep, that right there. Great documentary. I recommend it.
Yeah, I saw this documentary. It's incredible. Another one is Dominion, and it definitely Dominion documentary. This comes from the term from the Bible when it says that man was given dominion over animals. Well, you know what? I think that man was given dominion over mentally challenged people. You know what I mean? We build ramps for them. We ensure. Let's look at the definition of dominion. Okay.
Yes. My bad.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna, it's real quick, but I was just gonna say like that the etymology of that word dominion, like dome, it's home, at the end of the day. So but go ahead though.
Yeah, we're gonna link it all together. The first one, sovereignty or control. Man's attempt to establish dominion over nature, and attempt, because you can't control nature, you can only manipulate it. The territory of a sovereign or a government. So it's like it's like sovereignty. It's doing what you will. You know what I mean? It's navigating your own fate. Here, Merriam-Webster. Supreme authority. You know what I mean? It's absolute ownership. And if we are gonna be responsible for each other's lives, you know what I mean? We see people that are smaller than other people in high school getting picked on. We stand up for the younger guy. We see somebody in a wheelchair struggling to open a door in front of them, and we run up and we open the door for them. We see an old woman crossing the street, and we help her cross the street. We see mentally challenged kids drooling, and we wipe their drool, and we change their clothes for them. But we go to an animal and we say, screw him, kill him. You know what I mean? That the same dominion that we have over each other's lives, that authority to maintain the well-being of each other in our society, that has not been given to animals, and I think it should. I think that the same animal rights that protect rhinos and whatever endangered species, leopards, I think that they should be given to chickens, pigs, fish, and cows as well.
Real talk.
Yup. And also, to link this to another topic, I think owning pets, and all that. Didn't. Okay. I think owning pets and yeah, it's also can be linked to transhumanism in a way, because when you're getting a pet, or when you're breeding pets, you know what breed to breed together, how the outcome, how the dog's gonna come out, or how the cat's gonna come out. That's the same thing with transhumanism too, in some cases, because when it comes to genetically manipulating the embryo and the zygote and the offspring and all that, that technology apparently is offering to give you the chance to change the eye color, the hair texture, all that. It's the same thing. So they're desensitizing us or preparing us in a way for that, in a way to like kind of preparing our mind to operate in that way, to be okay with that, to condone that.
Yep, genetically modifying.
That's right. And if anybody's struggling to get off of the flesh and the dairy, all you got to do is watch one of these documentaries. You know what I mean? And if that doesn't scare you into it or disgust you and turn you off, then you can try another avenue. And I don't know if anything else will, but just keep on watching it, because I mean it's just so disgusting. I mean, nobody out there in the chat can tell whether or not the animal that they just ate, whether they got a chicken thigh or like a pigtail or chitlins or whatever, right? Liver, duck. Nobody can tell you if that animal was healthy. They can't tell you if there was a big cyst right beside it, or if it had parasites, or how its skin looked. You're just looking at the flesh, the inside. But most times, if you were to see the actual animal where your meat is coming from, you would probably vomit and be like, no, hell no, I'm not eating that.
Yeah, that is so true. People, when they get a banana, they see like a smallest brown spot right away, cut it off and put it in the trash. But little do they realize that's the same thing going on with the animals, but like in a grand scale, which is really disappointing, because we consider ourselves the most intelligent species or whatever. Well, the hierarchies and stuff, how they're made by man, but yeah, that's crazy.
Right, and you brought up the bananas. Like, it was crazy to me when I found out. I just thought about it one day, like, why don't they say fruits all have seeds? I said, where are the seeds from bananas? And I just looked it up, and I was like, man, I never knew that this is a genetically modified banana over all of these years that they've created, and we haven't even been really eating the real bananas and stuff. It's just crazy. And I was thinking earlier too, I saw somebody in the chat say something about, us eating protein, and we need meat for protein and stuff like that. But I got, just one question, and y'all can back me up if I'm right or correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as chicken and fish and stuff, isn't the primary thing that they feed them like a cornmeal?
Yeah, all farmers feed their animal, one or two things, grass-fed, wheat, corn, some kind of grain. But whatever that they're eating is it's that one thing, and they're building their bodies off of that one thing. So when we look at a cow feed, I mean, it could be, it's first of all, it's all GMO, right? Because it has to be 100% there for them to eat. You can't let them go hungry. You got to keep on feeding them. So what they're eating is GMO a lot of the times, and a lot of the times it's the same thing. So say they're eating this alfalfa grass right here, right? They're building up the proteins just from that one thing, and we have the chance to eat hundreds of varieties. So we get hundreds of more types of protein.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was getting at, man. Like, if people eat the freaking chicken and they mainly eating corn and stuff like that, they really not getting the protein like from plants and stuff they would be eating if they were naturally roaming around and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure they not, built to eat just what they feed them.
Yeah, that is so true. I think I went to a fair, and there was like all types of animals caged up. I think this was 2 years ago, but they allow you to feed the animals, and all the food for some reason looked very similar. It was like, the processed dry food, but they all looked similar, but it was different animals. So yeah.
Yep, I disagree with dog food too. That's it ties right back to the pets. We shouldn't be feeding You know what I'm saying? So I mean, yeah, it's basically the same thing as that. Like when you really look at it, it's just jacked up, man. Like, and we even eat stuff like that. I don't see how people eat cereal. Like,
I know I eat cereal, man. God damn it. I'm in Canada, man. Canada, where they're the world's second largest producer of cereals. It's just like ingrained in us over here. I love quinoa puffs. I love kamut, but kamut puffs, guys. Kamut is an ancient grain. It's a grain that's gluten free, and it looks like rice, but a lot bigger. Okay, a lot bigger. If you cook the kamut as rice, oh man, it's so nice and big. Like imagine having a rice grain. Okay, kamut versus rice. We're gonna see the size difference here, guys. You got to see this. Oh, I don't know if they're gonna show me the size difference here, but kamut's way bigger, and when you cook it up, when you boil it, and it's like every grain you're feeling like explode, pop in your mouth. It's so nice and soft, and so yeah, I eat that cereal with some almond milk or cashew milk. Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely a very processed type of food to eat for sure. I feel you on that.
bro, it's a lot to learn from you, bro. Like, 'cause I never, I was just, throwing cereal out there, like, as in, I just don't like the way that the processed cereal that I've known tastes. I haven't really looked into organic cereal though. That right. I've never saw that right there you got on the screen.
It's mighty good, man. Quinoa puffs with some cacao in it, some real dark cacao in it. They got this here in Canada. We love it. It's just like kind of like Rice Krispies, or like Sugar Crisp. Can't get enough of that Sugar Crisp. That's exactly what it tastes like, except it's natural, non-GMO. I don't know if you guys have this brand, but that's what we have here.
Yeah, I get oatmeal. That's nature's path.
Woo! Oats, guys. Let's talk about some gluten-free oats. Because how do you make your oats, Pierre?
I honestly boil them on the stove. I dropped the microwave last year along with the chicken.
Okay, stop boiling the oats. Okay. What you want to do is you want to fill up your oats with like a milk, like say like any milk that you use, cashew milk, almond milk, and you want to throw it in the fridge overnight. Or if you want to eat that day, then prepare it about 10-15 minutes before, and you have these nice, soft, big oats. And you know what? They're not cooked and destroyed. You're getting your vitamin A, the vitamin D, the riboflavin, and because when you cook cooked oats, and then you look at the side of the pot. You know at the side of the pot when you cook it. You know how hard that is to get off.
Right, it's like a plastic type of thing,
Yeah, it's friggin' hard. You gotta scrape it, you gotta soak it. That's because we're cooking it, so the glue comes out of it. The gluten glue comes out of it. We're rearranging the molecules. But when you soak it overnight in like almond milk, you wake up the next morning, you eat that, you wash it in like 2 seconds, and it's healthy. It's raw. Holy.
Hey, I kid you not. Like my mom makes that all the time for me when I visit her. Like she makes me overnight oatmeal. I don't know how to create it myself. I haven't really just sat down and looked into the ingredients and stuff. But she usually puts like blueberries, walnuts, that quinoa stuff you just had on there, some other type of seeds. But yeah, and sometimes fruit.
Well, if you really want to know a really simple recipe for overnight oats, for everybody out there, and you too, PR, take your oats, you put some plant milk in it, and then you can get like a handful of raisins, drop it in, and dash some cinnamon in there. If you like, add some maple syrup, a little bit of vanilla if you like, and you got yourself a tasty, tasty meal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. And also, like in my culture, in Kenyan culture, Well, I eat cereal. I eat like American breakfast. Well, not the standard American breakfast, but plant-based version. I don't really eat oats, but I'm gonna start. I'm gonna try that out. Sounds really good. But yeah, I just eat like a lot of the vegetables. I don't know their name in English, but they're like exotic vegetables from Kenya, and like they're like more the one I just ate for dinner right now. It's a more yam like, but it's not a potato. But I just ate that for dinner like around 5, and I'm super full. And I kid you not, I ate like 1 to 2 meals a day because I looked it up and I'm like, well, I'm just the main thing I do is just like watch my siblings and go to school. It's not like I'm a construction worker and you need to eat 3 meals. And ever since I've changed that up, also it's helped my digestion and my ability to retain water and hydration when I'm like out on runs, and because I run long distance track. But yeah, a lot of like when you observe the struggle foods around the world, the struggle foods in third world countries are way more healthier, I've observed, because the struggle food in Kenya is basically beans and maize. It's called githeri, but it tastes really bomb. But if you go there and you eat that, like let's say for example your family there and like you have guests over and you give them that, they'll see that as disrespectful. So like, and you know, third world countries trying to be like America, they think rich people, oh, rich people eat bacon and eggs and all this meat, you know, all just filled with carcinogens. That's what they're trying to be. And you know, the struggle food in America, it's like ramen, whole lot of processed stuff. But yeah, I say that to say like a lot of the people struggling in third world countries or so like in poverty also have been indoctrinated with the mindset of like, oh, we're less than, you know, and that scarcity mindset. And they don't look around and notice all this exotic cactus like fruits and vegetables that can sustain them for weeks, you know, if they eat it. And it also benefits their health, but they rather get aids from like a aid from the UN to come and give them processed food, that which makes no sense to me. It's like so stupid. But yeah, I love lentils. That's like the main dish I eat. But if you give that to your guests in Kenya, super disrespectful. Don't understand why. But yeah, I just hate it that third world countries are trying to be like the free world so much. And the food there is delicious. Their struggle food is delicious and it's healthy. But yet they perceive it as useless, basically. So yeah.
Yo, you touched on so many points on that I would love to speak about. First of all, the yam that you're talking about, was that the yellow yam? Like it looks like a big root.
Yeah, it tastes like sweet potato, but better. It's not like as mushy. It's more structured.
Oh, okay, there you go. And also, yeah, the struggle foods, man. I know what you mean. Like we'll eat ramen and Mr. Noodles over here, while, you know, over in places like anywhere in the third world countries, really, they're what you say struggle food is actually healthy food. I remember when I was in on the continent, you know, for 6 months doing my thing out there. A lot of their food in the city was, you know, it was the meat that completed the dish. And then as the further you got out into the rural areas, the farms and stuff like that, it was more vegan, plant-based eating. And the people were just healthier. You know, you don't have the obese people out there and people struggling to stay healthy. So yeah, real talk, if people would embrace their quote unquote struggle food more, like you said, there would be a lot less poverty, because you would have the energy to get up and do something, and you'd have the positivity to make your way out of the darkness. You know what I mean? And I do really believe that the way that they are making people eat, you know, importing the maize and giving them this mushy goop for foreign aid food. I really do think that that is a part of keeping them impoverished, you know, keeping their vibrations low so they can't see the light to get out.
Do you think that like the blood from that we get from or used to get for us who are vegans now, do you think the blood from animals affects the pineal gland like water does in any type of way?
Well, I think that everything, I mean, the TV you watch, the water you drink, the foods you eat, and definitely the blood that is spilled and is put through your body. It's definitely, there's constituents about that blood that is going to cross your brain, and it's going to affect your pineal gland. And your glands, they work with your body in such a way, when your body is out of balance, they produce hormones to get you back into balance. So, you know, if you have a fire, then you're going to see a lot of firefighters. But if you don't have a fire, then they're going to be back in their station, you know? And what I mean is, a lot of the things we see today, the craziness, the depression, we are seeing this because we're eating the meat. But if we wouldn't see it, if we didn't eat the death, you know, we cause death because we are eating the death. And the pineal gland, I mean, once you give up the meat and the dairy, and if you're a regular meditator, I think that you will notice a very quick improvement on your meditations in order to get to that spot. You know, everybody has that sweet spot when they're meditating, that time, that area. It's like, boom, now I'm in. You know what I mean? Now I'm meditated. I'm in my thoughts now. That point that people try to reach, it comes a lot quicker when you take the filth out of the bloodstream. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely affects our pineal gland because basically information or knowledge, it's just stream. It's like a stream of light, you know? DNA, it's a strand, like it's a string, it's a flow. And when you don't drink water or the right type of water, it's easy for your pineal gland and other organs obviously to be affected, but your pineal gland to get like be more susceptible to get calcified and all that. I think it does definitely affect our pineal gland like blood, because it's not only feeding the parasite and also our parasites spiritually, it's giving, it's tainting the pineal gland and all its raw essence, you know? It's just lowering its vibration. But yeah, I think it definitely does affect. I don't know how to explain it, but just like water nourishes, I think blood, that product of death um taints it and I guess degrades it in a way.
Right, I agree with y'all. I asked that specifically because I was thinking about the fact, like, when I quit eating meat, I was having nightmares about getting shot and all type of stuff. Like last year, a couple of years ago, just I was going through a lot of stress and things like that. But I don't know if it has anything to do with it. But ever since I quit eating meat, I realized just by thinking that I haven't had any nightmares anymore, like that from ever since I quit eating meat. I don't know if it has anything to do with it at all, but it's crazy.
Yo, I can relate to that. I used to have nightmares. My nightmares used to always consist of either being chased or being like in a vent, and it's black and white and grainy, and I'm looking down on like a scientific meeting or something, and then like I make a noise in the vent and everybody turns and looks at me, and now I'm like trying to escape the vent. Those were like my kind of biggest types of nightmares. And I've realized like in the past decade, a nightmare has come far and few between for me. And they used to be like almost like a regular thing, like a once a week. Like I used to have nightmares about my parents dying and getting beat up by gangs and shit in the areas that I used to live. And yeah, I've realized it like maybe 5-6 years ago that my nightmares aren't as frequent. And also, like, I'm a lot more tempered, right? Like I'm in waiting lines and I can hold my patience, and you know what I mean? I'm just a lot more temperamental.
Right. And I don't know how much, meat you might have ate in your life, Masterpiece, before you became vegan, but that right there just shows, like I saw in the other green streams where you've talked about how long it takes, to act. Like, it's not an overnight process when people quit. That's why the sooner you start, the better, if you really, are spiritual and you want to change your life. Because if you, when you just said that you haven't had nightmares like that in 5 or 6 years, you say you started, eating meat 10 years ago. So, you start seeing cleansing effects, effects from the cleansing, years sometimes down the road, I guess. It's crazy how much, chemical you can have stored inside of your body just from eating, death like that.
Yeah, my nightmares have also stopped ever since I stopped eating meat. My diet when I was young, it was,
Guys, I'm still here.
but yeah. What else? Oh yeah, with the whole stream thing, it just reminded me, like stream and blood and the pineal gland. It just reminded me, like, when I sun gaze and meditate, I receive like streams of knowledge. And also when I sun gaze, when I first started sun gazing, like I do it the safe way, but it's a lot of cleansing. So I would even like cry, like I think it's washing my eyes, but for me it was like a catharsis almost. It was a spiritual release. So I think blood affects us the reverse of that, the reverse of what water, nature would do to us. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, with the whole dreams thing, I guess I have a lot of nightmares about, like, yeah, my family members dying too. But um in my transition, one dream that was reoccurring is like me endlessly falling. I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but I'll just like be endlessly falling in a dark pit. And I don't know if that's how the animals feel that I condoned their death, like when they got shot and stuff. But yeah, karma's real.
Hey, have you heard about grounding?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Has anybody tried it?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
My bad. Yeah, I do ground. I do that a lot, but honestly, I haven't here recently because it's cold as hell.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's wintertime. There's grounding mats where you can connect the mat to like a ground wire in your house, or like a pipe that goes into the ground. Like most people usually do like the furnace or like the water heater pipe or whatever. And that right there is enough to ground them, these grounding mats. And they even have like grounding sandals. But yeah, definitely a good thing to do, ground. I haven't done that in a while. It basically lets all of your extra electrons, like your free radicals, it gives them a place to go. It's like grounding a circuit.
It's like a distance. I like to walk barefooted in my backyard.
Yeah, exactly. Getting your feet in the soil, and not just in the grass either, on the soil. The soil, the dark black soil, that's the grounding.
Hey, what nature boy say? What nature boy say? Feet on the dirt, get into it with the planet.
Oh man, nature boy, that man is twisted.
Yeah, do the trip, man.
Yeah, he needs to be stopped, man, because what nature boy is doing is more harm than good, for sure.
Yeah, like as far, I don't even, I really honestly, because I know how it is, when we get on these panels and bring names up. So, hey, if, I'm the one who brought his name up as a man, I did, that's my bad for doing that. But, I was really complimenting with the song. But, I do disagree with how he treated women and everything and a lot of that. But as far as the nature, if he was really, growing his food and stuff, as far as, him breaking away from, the United States and going to go do that, I commend him. I gotta say, I give him respect for that, because that's something that I haven't done myself that I want to do, and I know that we can do all. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I know that you weren't done, but I just wanted to say, first of all, he's not in nature, right? I mean, they got tents and they're sleeping in a Airbnb and they're paying for it, so they're not in nature. They're not growing their own food. They're shopping. They're buying canned stuff. Apparently Nature Boy's eating cakes but whatever, that's not my place to say. But what I did want to say was, it's one thing to up and leave on your own merit, and it's another thing to run. Anybody can run and go to a country where it's easier to live off of less money than a day, you know what I mean? And that's what he's doing. He's running. He's on the run. He wanted to do it in Africa, went to Belize, got kicked out, whatever, went somewhere, Honduras, got kicked, you know what I mean? So he's bouncing around on the run. And so I don't commend him for that, but I know what you're saying, though. I know if you were saying if they were really in nature and doing, that would be something that was, highly commendable. But because they're not, and he's spreading disease and, it's dangerous, man. I hope that gets sorted out. But let's get back onto topic with this veganism stuff, because the pet thing is one thing that I think that we kind of struck a chord with some people. Now I think people are looking at their pets like, differently, as something that actually, left up to his own devices, probably does want its own freedom. You know what I mean? Doesn't want to wear the leash. Who has a good time putting the leash around their dog? They're trying to usually get away from the leash. You know what I mean?
Right, for real. Like, yeah, I feel like when we brought that up, it really, helped people see that, you holding the animal captive at the end of the day. They didn't choose to necessarily be with you. So it's not right at all, bro. It really woke me up, man. So having this conversation today really did, open my eyes as far as the pet thing. I've been waking up on the meat eating thing. I've been trying to help family first, and I can't really do too much about the outsiders outside that I haven't met on the internet. I'll say, start off fixing ourselves first, and then try to fix our family, help our family at least, fix themselves, and then try to work on the outside world. Because if we can't fix our families, shit, we can't fix the world. And if we can't fix ourselves, we can't help our family.
That's right. That's right. We gotta uplift ourselves first. And one thing somebody said in the chat, they tried going vegan for a week, and they tried going vegan and felt weak. And that's something that I covered in I got my construction jacket on right now. That's something that I covered in part 6 of my green streams. So go back and watch that for sure. About why you feel different, usually worse, when you start your transition to a vegan diet. So what happens is your
body's detoxing.
The body is detoxing. It's getting rid of its toxins, right? And when it gets rid of its toxins, it has to dump them into the bloodstream for purification through the liver and the kidneys, okay? So your body is so intelligent and so amazing that when you're, from the time where you're born to the point where you are at today, your body has been storing toxins, and it has been using its own alkaline materials from your bones to raise your pH when you're eating these acidic meats and dairies, right? So you're leaching minerals out of your bones every time you eat an animal product. So your body, since it knows it's too toxic to just have the acidic meat and eggs floating around in your system, it'll store it away, usually in the form of fat. When you stop eating animals and you stop eating dairy and eggs, your pH rises and your body now gets to release the toxins of the meat and the flesh and the dairy back out into your system for cleansing. Once it's in your system, that's when you feel lazy and lethargic. You're getting all of these noxious substances brought back up. It's like taking a jar full of dirty water and stirring it. Now all the water gets murky, but soon it'll settle again. And that's what you're doing. Go ahead.
I was gonna say a little comment. That's when you know you've been full of shit. Get it?
That's right. That's how you know that your body's been full of shit, because the more tired you are, it shows the amount of abuse, the amount of pain that is experienced in the vegan transition is tantamount to the amount of abuse that you've been doing to the body. So little abuse, little change, in the moods and the feelings. But if you've been abusing the meats and the dairies and the cheeses and the eggs and all that, then you're going to have a hard time. And a lot of times you might have acne because it's the filth trying to get out. You might get bumps behind your ears and on your elbows. You might have bowel problems and lethargy. But also remember that your adrenal glands, your adrenaline glands, they haven't been working properly because you've been getting adrenaline from an animal. So once you stop the animal meat, now your adrenaline glands have to work on their own, and they're not used to doing that. They haven't been properly functioning in decades. So
can you touch a little bit more about the lymphatic system?
Yeah, we can touch on that. But let me finish up the thought by saying it is when we eat the meat again and the dairy that our body then goes into restricting mode. It goes into hoarding mode. It goes into taking those toxins and putting it, storing it back in your body. So now that the body is sensing that you've eaten meat again, it is now storing back all of that filth and muck and is putting it back into your system so that you can feel better. And now you're going to say, oh, well, I went vegan, I got tired, and then I ate meat and I felt better. Well, that's just like a crackhead. A crackhead getting off a crack is very painful. They go through the withdrawals, they're scratching, and it hurts. And then when they get to hit a crack, something that's bad, they feel good again. The pain goes away. But if you just gave them a week more, a month more, then they would have been off the crack. They would have been straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's order out of chaos within the DNA.
Crack is whack.
Excuse me, I'm going to get on my phone and then I can talk about the lymphatic system. So go ahead, guys. Talk about what I was just speak. Go ahead.
Yeah, when the body is operating through that purging mode, that order out of chaos mode, that's basically that's what the system is founded on. And also with the spirituality, this religions they sell to us, that's the same thing. So it's almost like we are the system to an extent. Like if we're condoning these things, we're like the limbs of the system, the government's the mind because it's governing the mind. But yeah, I just thought to connect that. What do y'all think about that? Like condoning this, and the government and like the system is it's like sustaining itself off of order out of chaos, and within us is order out of chaos when we're supporting such a whack diet and all that. Yeah, what do y'all think about that? Like, are we in a way not really running the system, but I don't know, what do y'all think about that?
Um, um, I'm sorry, I wasn't following.
Okay, okay. So basically, the question is: are we like through our condoning? Are we allowing the system to? Well, not well. They've been manipulating nature for the longest, but are we supporting the system through operating like the system? That's my question.
Um, yeah, unconsciously, yes. Majority of the people don't want to hear or don't even want to know what their food comes from. I mean, I've been debating this whole thing we're talking about today with my family, and I try to do the, have them all come together and have like a little lecture, and I'll come up with my printouts and all that stuff. And whenever you touch a certain subject, when you've been brainwashed for so long to believe certain things, you refuse to believe it. And it's, I think it's the people like us, they understand certain things. We weren't told this stuff. We had to look for ourselves. I became a flat earther because I kind of that resonated more with my character than anything else before. That appealed to me. Like certain kids can appeal to, goth or metalheads or the jocks. Science was not a big part of my life, but nature was. Believing in stuff like that, climbing trees when I was a kid, it was something that I looked forward to doing. It was not like I was weird because I'll get out of school, I'll take all my clothes off, and I'll be on shorts on the trees looking for tamarindo. I don't know, you know what that is? Or um, pomegranate fruits or passion fruits. They were everywhere in our neighborhood. So in the Caribbeans, that's what we did. We go around and we just ate fruit for nature. So when 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 we doing certain like things like that, we keep thinking the same way over and over. We do it self-consciously. So yes.
Hey, somebody in the panel wants to know about honey, and well, it's the same thing. Honey comes from an animal. I mean, if you're walking through a forest and you see honey dripping, you probably look up and see a hive, and you're probably gonna run the other way. Okay, you're not gonna mess with the bees. Okay, you don't take their honey. If we need, if we get something where we have to get suited up from head to toe, and to go in there and use smoke to to make them all docile and pump them full of smoke. And you know what smoke does to our lungs? What does it do to their lungs? I mean, if they're breathing like and we're breathing like and we get that lung, we get black lungs, smokers lungs. What do you think we're doing to bees every single time we smoke them out? And then they get all docile and whatever. And then we take the panel out and we clear off the honey and we shove it back in, killing some bees, stepping on some bees. We move the wooden crates on top of other crates and we smash some of the bees on the way. You know what I mean? All for their liquid gold. And if you smell honey, it smells like saliva. It smells like a dog licked your face, or it smells like somebody kissed you. It smells like you just made out with someone and they were slobbering all over your face and you didn't wash your face. And then, you smell your lip and it smells like their saliva. It smells like that. Smell your honey. The bee takes in the pollen and it doesn't go to their stomach. It goes to another holding chamber that is filled with enzymes that break down the pollen and turn it into the goo. And then they regurgitate that up and then they feed it to their young little larvae. So it's like a bird chewing the food before they throw it up into their baby's mouth. The thing about the honey is that the honey is a broken down version of the pollen, right? So when you break down potato or apples and you ferment it, what do you get? You get alcohol. So with honey, what happens is the pollen is fermented in the bee's stomach, and then when you take it in, it further ferments to that next stage, and it creates alcohol in your digestion. It creates alcohol in your colon, and it is getting your little guys in there, your microbiome is getting them drunk, and it's dehydrating them. So I definitely don't like honey.
I never thought that deep about honey, honestly, man. Yeah, that's crazy, but I do know it's wrong, you know, to stick your hands inside of a hive. Like, we could do that in the natural world, bro. That ain't, we all know that ain't going. Most of us is allergic to bee stings too, you know. I ain't gonna say most of us, but a lot of us are allergic to bee stings.
Pretty much everyone has an allergic reaction to a bee. So yes, your statement was correct. We all are allergic to bees. Some of them just don't react acute to some reaction. But yeah, everybody who gets sting, their hands swell up, and your body immune system starts working. So you're right.
Right, and the more the population goes up, it also, you know, it's like it's choreographed. I mean, it's right along with it coincides with the extinction of bees. You know, so maybe the reason that they're going extinct is because we're getting honey anyway from the jump. You know, it's something that's not natural. It's got to be the reason why they're going extinct, and we all know that they're very important. You know?
I think that's another tactic, a way of scaring us. I mean, you go to New York City right now, and if you see you know, you got beasts everywhere. They're everywhere. I mean, I could go right now and walk any direction right here in this forest that I live, and I can find you some bees. And I know a couple of farmers. This one thing about this little town that I live, there are farms for everything. The other day I went and hooked up a customer's DirecTV system, and she sold baby ponies. She had a farm of baby ponies. Now ask me, what are baby ponies for? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's no use for baby ponies. There's no reason to have baby ponies. They're cute, but there's no use for them. Only for entertainment purposes.
Hey, that's for real though. You know, that's what I was saying earlier. A lot of people just get animals, you know, just to like for this cuteness type of, you know, tactic. They just get it because it's cute, and I guess that's just it.
I've been to farms where they grow the piggies. What is it? The baby pigs, the belly pigs, the really small ones, the ones that everybody sells them for $4,000. I've been to farms like that. I've been to a farm they raise little chihuahuas. There must have been 1,000 little chihuahuas in there, and I'm like, how many people are buying chihuahuas? So if people start like Master P, I don't have a pet. I don't have animals in my house, but that's because I'm never here. I don't want to be responsible for something I can't take care. That's one of my first things. So, but my mother has a dog, and that dog is a fat dog with arthritis. Now, let me ask you something. How the hell is a dog gonna get a human disease? You see what I'm saying? It's because we feed the same food. They're coming from the food is coming from the same source. Okay, it's coming from the genetically modified corn, the BT corn. Okay, have you ever seen the BT corn? It's red, dude. It's red. It's not even like a orangey yellow color. It's a red color. So right there, it should alarm our nature's our alarm. That's not normal to us. We never seen a corn who's red. Now, if you can find yourself some organic corn, it's all right. It's no benefit from eating it. There's no good benefit. It has no benefit. So you're eating, just carbs. But
well, like let me talk about wild corn, because we call it ornamental corn now, which sucks. So Thanksgiving time comes around, and you're a student and you're in class, And suddenly, out of nowhere, they're bringing up this red and purple and blue corn. And you're saying, oh, it's hard as a rock, and, you know, we don't eat that. I got my yellow corn. But guys, color is mineral. The manganese, the magnesium, the cobalt, the potassium, you know what I mean, the iron, the copper, that all has color. And if anything, we should be eating that corn. See this yellow corn here? That still has minerals in it. It still has like beta carotene in it, but it's pale. And if you look at this like red corn here, you'll see a couple dots of yellow. So it's mineral deficient. Or if you look at this rainbow corn here, you see somewhere white and yellow, so it's mineral deficient. But you see this purple corn here, every single one of them is purple. That's a really good one. That's a lot of minerals coming out there. That's going to stain your organs, make you feel really good. And there's not a lot of purple stuff that we eat.
Yeah, you can't find that around here.
Yeah, it's hard to find. I mean, you can't find that. It's hard to find in Canada, but it definitely exists. Now there's somebody in the chat that wants to know.
You can find it more.
Yeah.
So what is hominy then? Like you know, the white corn?
Yeah, white corn is just like very deficient corn. You know, white corn, maize, all of that stuff is just very deficient, and it's huge in Africa, all over the continent from north to south. They have these like little like corn patties, and it's kind of like polenta, like, you know, the Mexicans eat polenta. So yeah, this yellow corn and white corn, very nutrient deficient.
Is the white corn, will we consider that like an I'm not saying this to be funny either. Is this like an albino version of corn?
I mean, I guess you could say that, but it doesn't like. Yeah, I mean, I guess
crossbreed. Right?
It's basically okay. So when I showed you these pictures of this corn, right? The yellow corn. Okay, so you see how this red corn has some yellow spots? This means that these kernels were grown with like mineral deficiencies in that one spot. So what they could do is they could breed that with another mineral deficient plant stock, and then soon enough you have kernels, you know, fewer purple kernels, and then you keep on doing it until you have a yellow corn with just one or two red grain. You know what I mean? And then slowly over generations, you just have yellow and white corn. So you've bred out the nutrition. And for the vegan honey, someone has a question. There's a company in America only that is called Be Free. It's Be Free. And it's made with apples. And when they cook down the apples, it lets out their syrup. And this was actually on the Shark's Tank. And funny enough, it has a type of honey-like taste to it. Now, if you want to just replace the sweetness of the honey, then maple sugar is 10 times sweeter than honey. I mean, if you put a tablespoon in your tea of each, the maple sugar is definitely going to be a lot more sweeter.
Facts.
Yeah, it's a lot sweeter. You don't get that mucusy, that saliva aftertaste. It's just a lot healthier too, because there's a bunch of trace.
What I do, recipe?
Yep.
I take 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 3 teaspoons of the molasses. And I put water, good water, and I drink it like coffee.
That's good, but you should take the molasses out because it's a carcinogen that is wreaking havoc, and the parasites love it. The molasses is so broken down that there are no elements in it. There's no trace minerals in it. But in a maple syrup, you still get a bunch of trace minerals, the iron, copper, manganese that it had in the tree.
It's in maple syrup molasses? Same thing.
Molasses? No.
Yes, concentrated maple syrup.
No, the molasses, this comes from, well, I mean, I guess it can be different source, but this is usually from a cane sugar, and it's processed. Every time it's processed, it gets darker and darker. So you have molasses, and then you have like black scrap molasses, which is like super concentrated. But I promise you, Danny, that molasses is never, ever, ever made from maple syrup. You know why? Because it is way too expensive. The maple tree takes over 20 years to grow and start running the syrup.
Oh, no, that's why it's so expensive to buy.
No, it's not that actually. It's the molasses. Look, we can look at it right now.
I thought maple syrup was a
maple syrup. It's like a mixture of maple from a tree, and then like maple and then molasses are two different things. You have a maple tree, and I think there's a way that they take the maple from the tree. Sorry.
No. You're completely right. It's just it's such a I have to get in on this because it's just maple syrup is only ever maple syrup. It comes from the silver maple tree, and that's the only maple it comes from is the silver maple. So you catch it and it's pretty pale, and then you heat it up. You're basically dehydrating it. You're taking all the water out of it, okay? And you're just tapping a tree. Now this takes so much resources and so much time that it is very expensive, and that's why maple syrup, this much maple syrup right here is about $16 to $20 in your store.
Yeah.
Okay? Now your black syrup or your regular molasses,
that's expensive though, right?
Well, the molasses is made from, the molasses is cheaper. Molasses is cheaper. It's cheaper. It's made from cane. The cane grows really quickly, and they cook it. They don't dehydrate it. It cooks it, and it's very black, and it sticks around in your body. It just wreaks havoc. Very bad for you. Maple syrup, gently cooked, it's great. And you'll never find molasses in maple syrup, and you'll never find maple syrup in molasses. So Danny, if you take out that one ingredient, boom, you're just gonna boost your life energy yet again, my brother.
Hey, Masterpiece, what do you
try tomorrow?
Word.
What you think about like molasses, especially blackstripe molasses, actually works good as a fertilizer for plants, especially weed.
Yeah. When you put sweet things, it helps the trichomes up here, and usually the sweet things would be coming from naturally breaking things down in the forest, right? So you would have the buds, the sweet sticky buds, and you'd have berries next to it, and you have different seeds and apples, and the animals would run around and they would drop it, and so from the soil it would pick up its own sweetness and saps and stuff like that. But now, you can add maple syrup, you can add sugar water, just straight sugar water, even if you like, to the last little trimester growing season, if you will, of your weed. And it's gonna boost those trichomes for sure. Yeah. And you're welcome, Be Strong, for expounding on the honey.
Yeah, I'm just learning so much, but to Danny with the whole family presentation stuff, I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to like make PowerPoints so that I can share this knowledge with my family a bit more, and also create content hopefully soon. But it's just I think my family are becoming more accepting and more open. And it's progress. I'm grateful for the opportunity that they're even so open. So I hope it goes well. They used to have a bit of cognitive dissonance and being uncomfortable with the knowledge and with what I'm doing, because I'm considered a bit weird too, like the black sheep of my family. I collect plants. I try to do that. I try to reuse things a lot. I try to compost, the skin and shreds of vegetables and fruits instead of throwing them away. But I'm definitely interested. I was gonna bring up the whole uncomfortability thing, like when you expose I guess, beliefs, religions, systems, all that. Yeah, it's just super weird. 'Cause I don't know. Honestly, I'm blessed that I even get the chance to know this knowledge and be so open to it. But it's like they desensitized us from the root, with the whole grounding thing. They got us, they hit us where the life force energy, the sacral chakra, that's where they got us first. That's why they're always advertising things to desensitize us. On I guess it would be considered our
Hey,
third my gut instinct. But yeah,
how are
I
you?
don't know.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I saw the headlights go off and I didn't see any movement in them. Okay, cool.
But yeah.
Hey, my otters, I wanted to ask you, did you draw your profile picture?
No, but I am in art in school. Trying to work on my skills. I used to draw a bit more in middle school, but yeah, I didn't draw it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sometimes I wondered that too, and I didn't mute my mic, so sorry you guys heard my conversation there. But no, I definitely been resonating with everybody on this panel, man, and man, it's just been a very good show. I think a lot of people in the chat are just they're getting filled with knowledge. They're being very graceful. Thanks, guys, for joining this and just for even clicking on this. For vegan debate. In the future, I definitely expect this to grow. Once this hits like 200 views, somebody that eats meat and is, a contrarian is gonna hopefully join us next time and bring up some good arguments. You know what I mean? And we could really get into the nitty gritty of it, and hopefully this gets big. So like and share this for sure.
Right on. Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat, and thank you, Masterpiece, for sending me the invite, bro.
Oh,
Same.
100%.
Yeah. I actually wanted to discuss belief systems and religions earlier, but also another topic that just hit me. My aunt has costochondritis. I did some research on it, and the cause is unknown, but I'm basically trying to make a list of like some things I recommend. She's not plant-based, she still eats meat. I think that's the main reason. But grown-ups, especially me, like they don't see me as the first person to tell them how to live, because they think I haven't experienced life to the level or degree they have.
Yes, I think that we should I think maybe next topic we can have yeah, why isn't Misael wrenched up? That's dumb on my behalf. Yeah, I think we should definitely get into the belief systems and how it's incorporated in many beliefs around the world, and how there's many religions that abstain from it, like the Jains, Rastafarians, and many more. So yeah, we'll get into that. And Danny D, you want to say anything before we close out?
Nah, man, just peace and love.
That's right. Yeah, that's all we
I'm
can
just
ever give.
enjoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. And on behalf of the
My phone is
animals out
breaking
there.
up, so
Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I do hear it breaking up. I'm gonna
yeah.
say
On
for all.
behalf of all the animals out there, somebody out here is thinking about them. So there's hope.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Yeah, there's hope. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. All injustices must come to an end, and this ball has already started rolling. So when it comes to animal cruelty, this is only an upward hill, and it's gonna get better and better from here. So with that, I'm gonna close out. And next week Join me for a very special green stream. It's going to be very special. That's Thursday. And in between that time, I will do a little question and answer session. And next week, hey, baby. My daughter just got home. That's why I got to go. But next week, we are going to also do another round of these vegan debates. And hopefully we can get some people up here and help expand the minds of other people. All right? So, yeah, peace. Thanks, guys, on the panel for joining me.
You know it, bro. No problem at all, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was an honor being on the panel once again, sharing love and light and information and balance. Yeah, anytime.
Last thing I wanted to say, man, I'm gonna let you go to Masterpiece. But everybody out there, man, if you're thinking about, giving up meat, if you've been thinking about it, over and over again, redundantly, it's never too late. But at the same time, just do it now. Just you take steps, but just do it now. I know somebody hears this that's trying and has been trying, but it's not as hard as, it's all in the mind. It's a mind thing. So just, like Nike, just do it. And that's all I got to say, man.
Definitely. All right, and with that, I'm gonna get out of here. Leave you guys with some music to do whatever you guys want to do. And yeah, like PR Corey said, yo, once you do that and once you get over that hump of that transition, life opens up to you in ways that I can't even prescribe. So peace, y'all. Much love, and have a great Saturday night. And if you're thinking about going out for some food, check a vegan spot first, all right? And like I always say, eat to live. Don't just live to eat. All right, y'all. Peace. Peace, KT420. Thanks. Fill up that chat room with the one, y'all. Peace. Thanks. Each one teach one. I appreciate. I see you. Peace, man. Willie Little John, Misael, only the wise. Much love. Willie Little John needs a wrench. Spliff time. That's right. That's what I'm going to go do right now. I got my conscience cleared for the night. You know what I mean? I did what I can. Deuce Muse. Yo, bro, I can't wait for you to go vegan either, man. Once you get over that hump, you're going to have more energy than you know what to do with. More strength. I can lift stuff that my meat eater workout friends can't lift. GPX Sage, thank you for joining us. Faux Life, be strong. I love all you guys. FF, damn, you just got here. Let me add you up. You just got here. Deuce Muse, man. I'm excited for your journey, for real, man. Hey, and anybody that wants to message me, email me, the email's getting pretty crazy right now, but I am getting back to them one at a time. Go ahead, my email's in the chat. Censored Truth, thank you very much for joining us. Flat Out, Man Apart, even all the haters out there, the trolls. What up, King So? Much love. What did you say about the maple? And maples are strong for a reason. Yep. Aquarius, Colorado. Getting messages deleted by Mr. Vortex for no reason at all. Peace, Aquarius. Peace to everybody that came out. Go ahead and vibe, y'all. Give animals a chance. Got some lemon kush, I gotta go blaze. Firestarter, peace. Raphael, peace. Lightworker TV, peace. Much love.